into a crowd at a street festival Saturday.
At least 9 people were killed and numerous others injured during the Filipino cultural celebration.
Pakistan's military reports that its forces engaged militants attempting to cross the border from Afghanistan this weekend.
The army stated that 54 militants were killed in the operation in the country's northwestern region. This clash occurs amid ongoing tensions and security concerns.
Former U.S. Representative George Santos was sentenced Friday to 87 months, which is over 7 years, in federal prison.
The sentencing follows his guilty plea to charges including wire fraud and aggravated identity theft.
The United States government has temporarily halted the cancellation of student visas following legal challenges.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, is now tasked with developing a new system for reviewing visa revocations.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Coffee is foreclosure. Remember that. And this one, you didn't push that wrong fucking button. Shows up the wrong button.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Nah.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Not happy with anything. Color. Light.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Made in here to clean up a little bit. Jeez. You know what? Maid's had a tough week. We should give her a little pat. You know what? Should be in by noon. All right. We thought that was it. One more bubble. You know. Good morning, folks. Oh, what's this? A microphone. It is Monday. Yep, Monday. Monday, April 28th, 2025. I want to say happy birthday to Tony Walker. I have to start, and Daryl Strawberry. And a bunch of other people. I have to start by saying what a great, I'm just totally admiring Tony Walker for the way he doesn't get rattled by stuff that would definitely rattle me in show business. I had a dinner theater thing with Tony on Saturday night, and it was in Freehold, New Jersey, which is quite a distance from where he lives in Hicksville, Long Island, New York. So I had to leave here like 1 p.m. to get to his house, like 2:30-ish. Then he had rented a bus, a van, but one of these extended vans. It's like a bus. It seats like 15 people or something, to take the entire cast to Freehold, New Jersey, and drive the thing himself all the way over there, over bridges and tunnels, and long drive. And along the way, I got to meet, because I have done this before, but different cast. And I was surprised to find out there was a different cast. First of all, Tony's partner of like 30 years retired and moved away. So, and this is a guy who had a key role, one of the most one of the roles that had the most lines in the show, and the guy who drives the show. Eric was his name. The character he played was Bruce in the show, but he retired, and Tony had to replace him. He got somebody to replace him. I don't know how he got somebody to replace him. And then there's another role in the show of the bride. It's a wedding thing, and the bride was played last time I did the show was played by Jeff Bozzi, who was a little light in the loafers guy, comedian, and a guy dressed in a bridal suit. But he was sort of feminine. I hate to say that about him. Maybe if he's not gay, he probably resents me saying he's kind of feminine. But it was to the point where at the end of the show where they announced, oh, by the way, the part of the bride was played by a man, some people were surprised. Well, Jeff left the show, and I don't know. There's some stuff, gossip, that I probably could have dug and found out. But Jeff's no longer with the show. But Tony replaced him, and I'm just wondering what that ad looks like, or how you go about finding a replacement. You put a guy who bride for a dinner theater movie guy. We want a guy to play a woman. Well, how do you even go about making? But we had to pick up Jeff's replacement at his house. So we got there, and I see a young black man. I was like, wait a minute, this guy's supposed to be the daughter of two Italian mob bosses, Carmela Barsini and Dominic Barsini. This is Thalia Barsini, a young black man who's playing a Italian woman, and he had a little bit of beard, mustache, big eyebrows, big manly eyebrow. I did not. Wait a minute. But that doesn't faze Tony. For me, first of all, having to replace my partner, I would have gave up right there. Then when you have to replace the bride, and all you can get is a black guy, all you get is to play an Italian woman. That would have dissuaded me. But Tony rolls with the punches. Okay, yeah, maybe that'll make it funny. And to be honest, when the bride came out, got the biggest laugh of the night. People were like, "Whoa, look at this." But also, the person who plays my girlfriend in the show, Lola, was replaced, and she was a very good actress, but she's a local from New Jersey and met us there. But we replaced 3 of the 4 characters in the show, and then me being a sub. So 4 of us had never met before. 4 out of 6 people had never met before, one of them being a total sub. And they like to improv. And if you know anything about me, if you've seen me on Zach Wiseman's little improv show, you know I suck at a lot of things, but there is nothing I suck at worse than improv. And so when they go off script, I'm like, where the fuck are we? How am I going to get where? How do we get this back to? And then we find out that it's supposed to be a 2-hour show. They don't want us to go over 90 minutes. And at the 90-minute mark, we're probably good 3 or 4 pages from even getting close to the end of the show. And I'm thinking, how the fuck do we get back? I don't know. But Tony just takes it all in. He laughs. He's happy. He tells jokes, and he's good with the crowd. Me, I would be a nervous wreck, an anxious wreck. So Tony Walker. And then on the way home, we hit Chris. What's the chubby Chris? What's the I'm running a fat chubby Chris. The former governor of New Jersey. His kind of traffic on the George Washington Bridge. What the fuck is Chris's name? GD will remind me. I could see his fat face. Anyway, so we got stuck on the bridge in horrific traffic. I can't speak this morning, but Tony didn't get rattled by that. That would have drove me crazy. It's now 1:00 in the morning, and we're stuck on the George Washington Bridge in the worst traffic I've seen since whenever that was. Chris Christie. How could I think of the name Christie? I should be able to think of the name Christie. Anyway, thank you for that. So anyway, yes. But Tony doesn't get rattled. I get rattled, and I would love to be more like him. So happy birthday, Tony. You're a hell of a man, a better man than me. and I hope you enjoy your birthday. That's all I want to say. That's a long way to say happy birthday, right? But he's a hell of a guy, and he needs to be acknowledged for that. I hope they have me back for more Knock 'em Dead comedy. And if you have the chance to support Knock 'em Dead comedy wherever you are, if they're doing shows there, go out and support them. Great show. A lot of fun. I just probably spoiled it for you if you were going to think, wow, that black guy, well, that Italian girl looks a little like a black guy. Here's who he is. I just to show you. That's who. That's the bride from the other night. So I don't think you would have been surprised to find out that that's a man. Anyway, I got home like 3 o'clock in the morning from leaving that house at 1 p.m. to at home at 3 a.m. And I'm still kind of recovering from it. It was fun. It was fun. Yesterday, I went to. I'll get to what the show's about today. You turning it for what the fuck? I know. I'm with you. It's Monday. Yesterday I was at the Dollar Tree store getting little canvases, the small canvases, because they're cheaper than the craft store. $1.25 for a little 5x7 canvas. So I go there to get some small canvases, and I'm at the register, and there's a woman my age, and she's smiling at me like one of these weird smiles. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Is my mustache dye falling off or something? What the fuck's going on here? She just got. I just went like this. She said, "How did you resolve it with the mother who's sending you dirty pictures?" At first, I didn't know what. Oh, wow! So you listen to the show? Wow, thank you. Actually, it's not resolved. I know some people who know her and know her daughter were listening on Friday. So the rumor mill has started, but it had, I don't know. How do I make the, you got to tell your mother somebody said, somebody either hacked her computer or she needs to control her urges. Whatever that means. Anyway, show today. We have a weird show for you. I think we have a good week. Musicians and comedians mostly. I don't know if we even have any authors this week. Probably do, but a lot of comedians and musicians. Today, in hour one, we're supposed to have, if they show up anyway, Miguel Ferreira, who is a Brazilian-born comedian, now killing it in Warsaw, Poland. And when I say killing it, I don't mean like Vladimir Putin is killing it in Ukraine. Oh, maybe I do. I don't know. We'll ask him. And then in hour two, we have Corey M. Coons, who's probably going to be a little bit. GD might take that as an offense just right away, just for the guy's name. Corey M. Coons. He's a white guy playing a white guy, not a white guy playing a black woman. I mean, a black woman. No, yeah, whatever. I don't know what I mean. Anyway, he's an independent. I want to call him a folkie, but I probably play some country music. Independent musician with Michael Stover's label. He'll be here in hour two. Mentioned to, you know what? This has gone on too long. Way too long a rant. But I have to say this. I don't have a new sponsor to play. I'm going to play a new sponsor, but one I put out yesterday that some really good things have been happening to me personally lately. And one of the things I'm really proud of and I'm a little shocked by is a couple of weeks ago, I got an email from a major art distributor, art product maker, manufacturer, and distributor wanting to sponsor my live stream paint shows. And I thought, well, this is a joke. If you've seen my live paint shows, you would think it was a joke too. But it turns out it wasn't. They came back with looking for numbers. They wanted access to my social media pages so they could do the analytics on the numbers of the show. And then they came back with an offer of sponsorship for the paint stream. So I'm going to be doing a lot more live paint streams. But an actual sponsor reached out to me and made a cash offer. Not like one of these affiliate deals or where we have to sell product for them, move product for them. Me, I can't paint for shit. I paint worse than I act, which is a good reason to get you tuning in, right? If you want to learn. Anyway, so we're going to be doing a lot more paint shows, and I'm really proud of that. But in the meantime, and I'll probably have them sponsored on this program too, even though they didn't ask to be sponsored on this program. But in the meantime, we're going to get Mind Bloomed out, and then we'll say hello to GD and that button pushing fucking Steven.
Mind Bloom is helping people achieve life-changing clinical and personal breakthroughs, alchemizing both the psychedelic medication, psychiatric care from psychiatric clinicians, coaches, we call psychedelic guides, and a lot of content and meditations and programs into this really transformational experience that, because it's delivered at home, costs a lot less and is a lot more convenient for people to receive.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now are that button pushing. I don't know if you know this about Steven, but he's getting good with AI because he made up this girlfriend for himself, which we know he actually prefers black women in bridal dresses with beards. But he made up. So, good morning, Steven, and also in the room that other guy who's we just call G to the D, Fenderson. Good morning.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com.
Wow.
Guess what? I didn't write anything down. I just was staring at the screen.
So you're not going to improv? Can't you just improv it?
Sure. I can improv it, yeah. Good
All
morning,
right,
America. MindDogTV.com. Are you looking for a nice young black man to be your nice Italian daughter? We got him. Knock 'em Dead Comedy sells them by the boatload. MindDogTV.com. Support your local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering.
Yeah, that's right.
Why'd you have to go the boat?
He asked me to improvise, okay?
Yeah, that was good. That was fine. I loved it. It was lovely. Looks like our first guest is stiffing us. He's in Warsaw, Poland. Who knows what time he thinks it is, because he might even actually be Polish, which would really make...
no, he's not Polish.
Well, he might be, but you just can't tell by his last name. It could be Fierowski or something.
No, you can hear the Latin influence on his voice, his accent.
All right, so
he does speak a little Polish.
He does. Oh, you've seen his? I didn't check him out.
I don't know a lot. He may just learned enough Polish for his bit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not like fluent in other languages, but I will learn a phrase or two for a bit.
Let me just let's just say you weren't an old man. Let's just say that for a second.
Okay, let's just say that I'm not an old man.
I said weren't, but that's fine. You're not an old man. So let's just say you're a 20-something. I don't know if he's 20-something, but 30-something. Let's say comedian looking to have a career in comedy. Poland would be your first thought.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I would probably pick Belarus, but you know.
Well, I was thinking more Rome, but
he's
Georgia?
the only.
Rome, Georgia, or Rome, Illinois? No, it's Paris, Illinois.
Italy.
Rome. Why? The traffic is atrocious.
He's the only English-speaking stand-up comic in Warsaw, Poland, which is not really a surprise. So I think he's thinking big fish in a small pond. I don't know what he's thinking, but
small fish across the pond.
Obviously, he's not here, so we'll miss him. Here's the thing I was thinking about.
Sound like he's dead.
We'll
miss him.
I did hear almost you say the deal.
Maybe he's auditioning for Pope. That's where he is right now. He's auditioning for Pope.
Right. So I'm curious. We can just move on from that. I'm curious about Tony's thing with his ads. How he goes about finding a guy to play a bride.
It could be word of mouth. It could be word of mouth also. It may not be so much putting an ad. It could be like, I know a guy, he's a comedian, he'll do it, sure.
This guy's not a comedian, the kid that
I'm just saying, you know, I mean, that's, you know.
He's a medical technician. And even if somebody's, do you understand it's playing a mob couple, Italian mob couple's daughter for their wedding day. Oh yeah, I know the perfect guy, James, the black guy with a beard and like. Who made that recommendation? If it's word of mouth, somebody needs a smack. Hey, oh, no?
I played a female part in a video. I'm not gonna say which part. I'm not gonna say which part I played, but it was a female.
The bottom.
I think there's a clip out. We're discussing. It was with Kevin Spacey, right? There's a clip. You can find it. It's called Dick Zucker's acting class.
Zucker. Dick Zucker. Yeah, Zuckers.
It's a Facebook course.
Yeah,
provided by Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Richard Zuckers, the Dick Zuckers. Yeah.
Look, I got a card. Yeah, I know. When you play this,
wait, I'm just saying. Now, Steven, you notice how he's holding it? He's holding it just like an illusionist would hold a card. He's not holding it like most people say, I have a card. He's going like this. He's like, I have a card.
Right.
This is how he lures children into his car with magic tricks.
Hey, I have a card.
When you played a female, did you bother to shave your beard? Did you hide it? Did you do anything?
No.
I think he or she's beard.
Matter of fact, I even deepened my voice.
Wow. No,
I think he looks in the dress with the beard.
Here's the thing. Again, he definitely is a good actor. He was playing it up like a really bitchy Italian princess. Oh, Daddy, it's my wedding. But to keep that up for 90 minutes is really, and when I say keep it up, I don't mean keep it up. But
you mean keep it down because it probably had to be taped.
Yeah, you can't have an erection as a bride.
I don't know if he's actually a heterosexual. I don't inquire into these things.
That's because you don't do the research.
Yeah. Well, I was shocked because nobody
You need to
told
do
me
a deep
that.
dive. You need to do a deep dive into these things, Matt. I mean, really get up in there.
I didn't know that Jeff Bozzi, who had the part, had left the show, and I thought we were going to pick him up. And when we were going to pick him up, and a black kid comes out of the house, I'm like, "Whoa." I'm going to be quiet about this till I figure out what the hell's going on.
What did you think? What did you think? That was the chauffeur? Tony drove there and that he's going to drive the rest of the way?
Yeah.
Tony went to pick up the chauffeur?
Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah, that could have been one thing. But so he played the part well.
Did you slip up and say, Asfatza? Did you slip up?
I started inquiring about what the fuck's going on here when we got to the green room. And
Muyan. Was it Muyan?
Yeah. What happened to Jeff Bozzi? Now, Jeff Bozzi left the show, I think on bad terms, but he's still friends with Tony on Facebook. But I want to know about this because last time I did the show with them, Jeff Bozzi, who played the bride, and they come to the place where you can kiss the bride. Jeff Bozzi kissed the dude because they grab a dude out of the audience to be the groom. And this is somebody unsuspecting. And then the dude goes and kisses. I mean, full on bridal kiss. You may kiss the bride. And I think that guy was a little angry. I was like, man, that's a risky part. You can't you got to make sure the guy's going to be okay with that before you just go planting the man lips on him.
Look, if you can't kiss another dude just for the sake of art, then why are you?
If you ever fucking kiss me, I will fucking smack that hat off your head.
Well, it depends on what the situation is.
Matt, he probably was expecting to do this, like go like, or.
Right.
Well, here's the thing: when you in the day, like when guys would pretend, like they'd grab a guy and they'd put their thumbs over his lips and then kiss the thumbs. You don't actually kiss the guy.
This ain't that. This is you may kiss the bride in front of everybody. And
I mean, look, art's art, man.
No.
It would
not for me. If I were that guy and they pulled me out of the audience, I'd go, what do you fucking?
I would have stuck my tongue so far down your throat, I would have felt your mustache on my asshole.
No, you wouldn't get a chance because first of all, I would have pissed on you in your little fucking chair there and laughed. That's what I do. To
Okay, children, you're both pretty.
Wait, no, I'm just talking about what I do to people in wheelchairs. That's all.
And I was gonna tell you what I do to old guys. So
okay, stop fighting. You're both pretty.
Thank you.
Pretty selfish for arguing this in public.
Because they're not being clear about what happened with Jeff. I'm thinking that's what happened. Like, 'cause all I heard was there was some legal thing that we had to separate him from the show, and I'm thinking somebody sued, somebody got a herpes. I don't know.
Somebody got pregnant.
Don't you want to know?
The show herpes.
Don't you want to know what happened to Jeff Bozzi?
No, I didn't even know who Jeff Bozzi was until
I didn't even know those things existed until about 7 minutes ago.
Aren't you curious that why there was some legal thing?
No, I am the least curious person you'll ever meet on this show today between 12:51 and 12:42 and 12:46. 25:45 and 25:48.
All right.
That's
what the fuck are you talking about?
That's the clock. That's the show clock. The show clock is at 25:54, 25:56.
So I guess Miguel Ferreira, Brazilian-born Brazilian-born comedian. When I say jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. In Poland, Warsaw, Poland. He's not going to be here. Or he's going to try to pop on in hour 2, and we're just going to have to say, how do you say get lost in Polish?
The only thing I know how to say in Polish is, that's
Kyle.
Say Kyle, and then Fuksteku, but that's Dutch. Never mind.
Kielbasa? 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 Oh, that's a sauce.
You say kielbasa, I say dick.
Nice.
I say Dick Zucker.
Whoa!
Dick Zucker.
Dick Zucker.
Dick Zuckers.
So Stephen had a wonderful weekend. We know that he has he went to one of these make your own girlfriend in AI sites.
Oh, is that like Build-A-Bear? Is that like Build-A-Bear in the mall?
Build-A-Bear.
I did stuff her, but it's not like Build-A-Bear. No.
I don't know if you call that stuffing.
It's like you get some crumbs and stuff, and there's little crumbs.
Yeah, it's like I think I got a poppy seed in my mouth. Oh, it's Steven's cock.
Is that a Tic Tac? Is that a Tic Tac, or did I just fillet you?
No, that's just why your mouth is minty fresh, GD.
I think we'd have to piss on him because this is what I do.
Oh, this is wrong. This is the wrong website for that, guys.
I want to piss on you. So apparently, old ladies listen. We're
going to get a copyright strike for that. You know that's a Juice Newton song,
piss on
right?
You song.
That's a Juice Newton song. You know you're going to get a copyright strike. Juice Newton is going to be all Juice Newton. She's going to be all over you now.
Wait a minute. It's not piss on you when Juice Newton does it, right? So did he change the words? Is it parody or is that literally?
No, that's the words. That's what Juice Newton sings.
Really? Who's Juice Newton?
You don't know who Juice Newton is?
No.
Playing with the Queen of Hearts.
She played Marlena Dietrich in Blazing Saddles.
No.
No, I can see. Since he hasn't seen Blazing Saddles, I can insert anybody.
You can.
But Juice Newton
you can make up names and roles in Blazing Saddles because he
never heard of the Ink Spots. They were on the soundtrack for Blazing Saddles.
Yeah,
Juice Newton had like 3 hits in the 80s, and Blazing Saddles was done in the 70s. But Juice Newton was she was a nobody in the 70s when Blazing Saddles was made. Even when she was, she had one of her hits, and she only had a few hits. One of them was a cover of an early 60s song, Angel in the Morning. So she'd only had really 2 hits of her own.
Live on Twitter? Oh, we are. It's on your Twitter. Okay, sorry.
Did you look her up, Juice Newton?
Oh, no. I was seeing if we...
look up Fig Newton.
Someone missed
That's her son. That's her youngest son.
I got a message asking if we were live today, and I was like, yeah, go to Matt Napo's page.
Who?
Oh, she's cute.
Who said that? Who said what? How? Who? What? Oh no, you're not on. We're not on your stupid dopey little Twitter. We're on my stupid dopey little Twitter.
That's fine. No, it's fine. I just sent them the link.
But what about Juice Newton? Well, you don't care about Juice Newton.
She's hot. I mean, she was hot.
I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know about hot. She kind of looks like if
don't back off.
If
No, Steven, don't stop capitulating to Matt. If you think she's cute and Matt doesn't, just still hold to your guns and say she's cute. You find her attractive.
Hot.
She's 73 years old. She was cute. Back in the day, she looked like Jamie Lee Curtis, and the lead singer of Megadeth had a baby.
Wow.
Okay, I don't know who Megadeth lead singer
Not
is.
Megadeth.
Not Dave Mustaine.
Dave Mustaine. Yeah,
wow.
Sorry, Dave Mustaine. Looks like Dave Mustaine and Jamie Lee Curtis had a baby.
She's kind of like an early version. She's like the prototype for Taylor Swift, but
I can see that.
She didn't have the talent or
management.
Taylor 0.5. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, it was just like a rough draft.
A prototype. Yeah.
Just saying these nice things about her is not going to stop her from suing you, Matt, for seeing her song on the show.
What song did I see? Oh, "Piss on You."
Yeah, you're going to get copyright strike.
I can't.
And I'm not going to be. And I'm not going to be able to defend you. As your attorney, I want you. I can't lie to the court.
All right, I'm looking it up on my own because I don't trust you. Hey, you know what? I forgot to hit the go.
If you don't trust your attorney, who can you trust?
I can't trust anyone. Chappelle's show, R. Kelly, "Piss on You." It's an R. Kelly song.
No, he did the remake. Matter of fact, he sampled it. He sampled it.
"Piss on You" song lyrics by the Wannadies. The Wannadies?
Of course, multiple people made a "Piss on You" song.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I can't see Juice Newton doing a "Piss on You" song. That's what I mean, if you knew Juice Newton, she's like, I don't know, almost, I don't want to say Christian. Probably Christian.
Okay, maybe it was Olivia Newton-John. Maybe I'm getting my Newtons mixed up.
Yeah, maybe you are, because I don't think so. I think Sir Isaac Newton.
Isaac Newton. It was probably Isaac Newton.
Yeah,
he was in Blazing Saddles also.
That tracks.
Isaac Newton was in Blazing Saddles.
He discovered gravity when he right before he discovered that funky beat.
All right, so we have no Polish Brazilian comedian on. Who's saying shit over them about me over there? Stop sign. Yeah.
My first fiance was Polish.
Oh.
Huh. Your first fiance was Polish, and you didn't marry her. You kind of broke it up, is what you're saying, right? Or
she broke it up. First wife. She broke it up because she was giving it up. So she was serving it up.
But not to you. To somebody else.
Somebody else's.
Was it
somebody else's? What's the plural of somebody else? What's the plural of that?
A bunch of people.
Okay, wow. Yeah. But it wasn't all in a row. It wasn't like a train. It was more like a bunch of taxis.
Like taxis at an airport, one at a time.
Yeah, one at a time.
And quick out.
Yeah. She was running like a taxi service, not a train.
Like a valet service.
In the town where I was born. That's another copyright strike, just in case we want.
Oh, we're fine.
A lot of Polish immigrants moved into Copeg, New York. I know with Chris Christie. We said that before. And I have to say, the Polish women, it's exclusively. I mean, every last one of them are hot. There's no such thing as there's no ugly Polish women. They're all
my mom
smoking hot. So good
my
for
mom's
you.
An ugly Polish
Why would you let a hot woman like that go? I didn't even see her, but I know she was hot because she said she was Polish.
She was hot. She was a model.
They all are. You can't be from Poland and not be a model.
You can. Her sister was not one of the fortunate ones.
Do you have a picture?
Isn't that how the song that says "I'm not a fortunate one"? I think they wrote that about my ex-fiance's sister.
That's terrible.
Wow, that is terrible. I think we have a picture of her. Hold on, I think I have a picture of her here.
Roll the tape.
Roll tape. Here she is. Is that her?
No. No.
Damn.
If you want to know what she looks like, pull up the video. Was it Robert Palmer's video, "Simply Irresistible" with the women that all?
Yeah. So they were all like stiff. They look like mannequins.
And dance, yeah, that little thing. Yeah, pull that video up and I'll point her out to you.
I never thought those women were attractive. Those Robert Palmer things. I mean,
well, they were meant to look alike.
Mini skirts, and we call them quack skirts because they stop just before the quack. But
no, they stop after the quack. They stop before the quack.
On the way down. Well, on the way up, it's before the quack. On the way down, it's after the quack.
Yeah.
You have to know which direction you're coming from. And I always start I come up from the bottom.
Well, I either come from this way and work out. I come inward and work outward. That's how I come.
You got to get into it before you get out of it.
Yeah.
Right, Stephen? Is that what Frank Zappa said?
Well, that's premature. Premature is when you don't wait till you get into it to get out of it.
Right.
Nobody likes premature.
So apparently we have one old lady listener. When I say old, I mean my age. And that's old. And I'm sorry.
It is.
It is old.
Oh, yeah, you're ancient. You're ancient.
I don't know. Maybe she wants to learn how to paint.
Maybe she wants to use your brush.
We need.
We need more. Maybe she wants to use your easel, not your easel. The thing you hold, palette.
Cock. My cock. I hold my cock.
Palette. Maybe she wants to stick her thumb in your palette.
You know, Matt, I'm surprised you haven't done any experimental paintings using your cock as a brush yet.
He hasn't done any. He hasn't done any short.
Well, because you used to do it just for fun, so I figured you'd do it for sponsorship dollars.
I did tell you about the show I did at the comedy show I did. I headlined at a burlesque show, and there's a woman who was painting.
Wait. Start with Ibid.
Ibid.
Now go.
Okay. There was a woman there who painted pictures with her ass. She put the paintbrush in her butt and she painted pictures and then sold them at the end of the show.
She stole that act.
Is she on OnlyFans
the
now?
Spectrum? I have no idea. She made more money than any of us that night because she sold her paintings.
Yeah, that's an old carnival bit. There was almost every carny had a woman who would paint pictures with her ass.
Yeah.
So,
and she did it naked. She did it nude.
What carnival did you go to where you got to see that? Because I only got to see
this is her nude. Actually, did she have pasties? I don't think anybody wore pasties on it. No, I think they all had pasties. I think they all
things were a little bit different in the 1960s, Stephen. Before there were regulations and stuff.
Sounds like
carnivals back then. They called them freak shows, and they would, really just make the worst examples of people who had disabilities and stuff. It was, or people who had special abilities, like sticking a fucking paintbrush up their ass and painting with it.
And back then, if you were an industrious child, you could work 16, 17 hours a day for like 10 cents an hour and make good money.
Right, and there was no PETA or any of that stuff. So they did very strange things with animals.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying there was like mule diving, and mule diving was really.
They didn't want to. They didn't want to do it.
It was like mule panicking.
They pull the board out from under the mule or whatever and push it off, and it just goes.
Yeah. So
now sometimes if it was some of the cheaper shows in New Jersey on the boardwalk, it was just two guys in a mule suit, because they couldn't afford a real mule, so it's just two guys in a suit. Now, Matt, did you ever see the monkey on the motorcycle in the ball that they just ride around? It's just like anti-grav.
Yeah.
So this is the 60s. Is this a monkey or is this a black guy?
60s.
Technically, it was a chimpanzee. It didn't have a tail.
Stephen, I handle all the racist stuff on this show. Back off.
I was just making sure you said the 60s.
You don't really want a monkey riding on a motorcycle because the tail could get caught in the wheel. So these are chimpanzees on motorcycles or dirt bikes, I should say. They weren't, dirt bikes because they had to be like size appropriate.
Moving on. Are we moving on? Are we really moving
on?
We're not really.
I think we have moved on because we don't see chimpanzees riding in the ball anymore.
All right. Rush, you know Rush. You remember Rush?
Yeah, Limbaugh. He's dead.
Yeah. The band Rush.
Oh
They
yeah, one of my favorites.
They want to get back together. Well, there's only two of them. There's Geddy and Alex, but
Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee. Yeah.
yeah, they want to get back together, and they're thinking, like I'm thinking, you can't replace Neil Peart. Who are you gonna think now? Who do you think? Take a wild guess. Who do you think out of the rock drummers or people you might know who are drummers from the pop world, pop and rock world, that has been suggested?
Dave
Phil
Grohl.
Collins.
Stephen got it right because he looked it up.
No, I didn't. Dave Grohl. You said from the pop world. He's the only singer I know that's a drummer at the same time.
Right. Well, who said he had to be a singer?
Yeah, Neil Peart really wasn't much of a singer.
Again, Neil Peart never sang.
He was a songwriter.
But Grohl, I love Grohl as a drummer.
Dave Grohl's a fantastic drummer. He's an overall great musician.
Fantastic drummer. I love him as a drummer for Nirvana for what he does, but he's not a Neil Peart guy. He's more like a Ringo Starr guy. Boom, boom, bang, bang.
You see the videos about Ringo Starr on YouTube? On YouTube, there's a black guy who says that he played the drum parts.
Bernard Purdy, he's a fucking liar.
Okay.
I met Bernard 30 years ago, and he was telling that fucking story. And he's been debunked so many times. He's a fucking Bernard Purdy's another great drummer, but he was hired for some rehearsal sessions and stuff. Quincy Jones just had him around, and they were working. I don't know. He was in Apple. He played with the Beatles on a rehearsal session, and he's been telling the story that he played on all the hit records for years and years. He's just full of shit, and I like Bernard, but
why don't they stop him? I mean,
they have, but people have debunked him publicly. They've come out and called, but he continues to do it. It's just not
okay.
True.
I mean, because I didn't know. How should I put it? I just think the fact that he comes out and boldly makes that claim is interesting. It's kind of like
if you know Bernard's playing, he doesn't play like that. He's not.
Because everybody, even when if you're a drummer and you're even covering something else, you have your signature paradiddles that you throw in there subconsciously, even.
He's got basically the shuffle that's named the Purdy Shuffle, and everybody uses it. Like "Fool in the Rain." Led Zeppelin is a example of the Purdy Shuffle. Toto's Rosanna, that's a Purdy Shuffle. Steely Dan uses it on like Home at Last, and even Black Friday. But that's Bernard's sound, but he's a soft hitting guy and a finesse guy. He's not. Ringo was just like a wind up monkey, the fucking.
Now, okay, all right. Look, in defense of Ringo, he says he did what he was asked to do. Okay, he wasn't there to outshine. He was there to compliment.
Right.
So.
No, I'm not. I think Ringo was a great drummer the way I think Roll is a great drummer. But for what they do, you would never ask either of them to try to replace Neil Peart. No. I think that the idea that you can replace Neil Peart with those guys, you're out of your fucking mind.
I think if you're going to replace Neil Peart, you probably need 3 percussionists, 3 drummers. I don't think one guy's going to do it. I think they need 3. I think they need Sheila E. if she's still around.
You just go out and find some Rush tribute band drummer who knows all the fucking parts, who's been doing it for 30 years, making believe he's Neil Peart. Yeah, and you get him.
You're right. I think you're right. They probably even have the hair and mustache already if they're from a Rush tribute band.
Yeah. Now Roger Daltrey, who's a fucking dick, major dick, has fired Ringo's son, Zach Starkey, from the Who after playing for the Who for 30 years because the drums are too loud. This is not Zach Starkey playing the drums too loud. This is Roger Daltrey being old. He's like when you should know this by now because you're 80-something years old. But the drums, you have to, when you're singing in a rock band, overcome the drum. It's not like the drums are too loud. They're miking them up. You could talk to the sound man. If you want to start doing a lounge version of the Who, or like an old folks version,
then use a machine and turn it down.
Yeah.
Now,
but
have you guys seen? I'm sorry, I got stuck in a rabbit hole while my wife was while my wife was in Maine. I got stuck in a rabbit hole on YouTube. It's, in matter of fact, it's your fault, Stephen. You sent me some kind of video, and I clicked on it, and then I watched the next thing, and then the next thing.
It was YouTube and not Pornhub.
I don't know, but anyway, there was one of the things was a WWE thing, like Raw 41, and In Living Color played for that, and I was watching. First of all, I didn't realize that they had gotten that old, and I'm watching this old black guy play guitar, and I'm like, damn, he's fucking good. And then he go from his riff right into Cult of Personality. And he's playing it so much better than when he wrote it back then when it first came out, because I covered it. And I thought to myself, holy fuck, I used to cover that song. I can't cover that. How did he get better and I got worse? I don't understand. We both got old, but I got so much worse. I can't play that stuff anymore. And he's like hammering away. I'm like, fuck, he improved on it.
It's one of the most popular entrance songs in WWE.
Really?
Yep, Cult of Personality. Yep, CM Punk. Yep.
Wow, I barely remember it. I mean, I know the song, and I thought it was cool when it came out. But if it came on the radio right now, I wouldn't notice. I wouldn't recognize it until the vocals started, probably.
Oh, you?
I hear it. I probably listen to it like 2 or 3 times a week. Matter of fact, because I can't play like I used to play, I have these reminiscing moments when I'm riding my tractor mower where I remember the songs I used to cover, but I can't cover anymore. And in my heart, I can still play those songs, but in my hands, I can't.
Right?
It's so fucking frustrating. I'm like, I know how to play. I know how to play that lick. You know, I can't try it again. I can't do it.
Look in my eyes, what do you see?
I can't do it. So, but I remember those days, you know, and people would go, "You sound just like them," and that's part of the thing I had to stop, because I was like, "No, I want to focus on my own style. I'm tired of copying other people."
Oh no, you're not.
Are you a retard?
You're not another Miles Davis, are you?
Who's that?
Yeah, right.
If peeing your pants makes you cool, then I'm Miles Davis.
No, Miles Davis was very good at what he did.
We have a picture of Miles Davis here. Hold on, let me share.
Yeah, don't show the picture, because he did not age well.
Here he is.
Don't show the picture. Oh,
oh my God, Matt, you can't show that on YouTube.
Why not?
We're gonna get demonetized.
It's chocolate.
Miles Davis.
Oh, that's right, Matt. You weren't listening. You weren't listening to the Reverend's sermon yesterday. Turns out that the Reverend got he did his obituaries, and he made them into shorts, and one of them, not shorts, but separated them and put them on the Tiki-Taki. And one of them was about Cat Nicky. And Cat Nicky committed suicide, and they took the audio out because of that. And this week, Virginia Giuffre, Giuffr,
the one who accused Prince Andrew of
suicide.
Yeah,
and so so you can't. There's some things you just can't do.
You can't say suicide.
Well, you can say it, but you can't talk about it.
I think now a lot of people on the internet say unalive because the word suicide can get you hit too, like on TikTok and stuff.
Yeah, well, I didn't know. I was, because it's a news article, and I was quoting what the family said. And
you have to declare in the little box there, especially if you're in monetization mode, you have to declare whether there are discussions of controversial things like suicide, self-harm, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's not. Well, it's not Tiki-Taki, so it's not monetized. They just took it out. The community standards.
Shorts are automatically monetized. Whether you are a partner or not, they automatically monetize your shorts.
Whoa!
So because of the brown stains, but
so I should be getting money for the shorts. How many shorts do I have to sell to make money? Like 1 million?
It depends. Are they dirty or clean?
Oh no, yes.
I would look in your analytics.
They start off clean.
Well, with YouTube, you have to set your payment threshold. See, you have to go into your analytics and see if you're accruing any money towards that. But got a lot of short views before you start. Even if your threshold, let's say your threshold is $100, it will take if at the rate my shorts get viewed, which is like 250,000 a month. It takes a month to get like $50 in there. So like two months to accrue the 100, and then by the time you see the check, it's probably 3 months before you see the check for stuff you posted 3 months ago.
Oh,
if you're getting 250,000 a month.
I'm not.
Yeah.
If I am, they're not. It's being seen other places and not counting on my screen.
It's pennies. They're just dropping pigeon food for you, and you're just supposed to. That's what YouTube does. Just a
Okay.
So anyway, I'm not good at improv, and the fact when you get lost in the script, and I start to panic.
Well, you know the basic rule. Did they teach you the basic rule of improv is yes and?
Yes, always
yes,
yes
and
that yes and that brings me back to Annie. I'm blank on her last name. The lady who played Doris Klumpus on Seinfeld. She told me the key to her success was always saying yes to everything. I was like, in my case, that would have got me prison time if I just said yes to everything I was offered. I
think she's talking about in the context of the safe confines of Hollywood where nothing can go wrong. Not in mob world. You don't want to say.
You don't want to say yes to Harvey Weinstein, right?
No, you say yes and. Again, you're missing it. It's yes and.
You suck my dick. Yes, and what do I get?
Yes. And if you start like, would you suck my dick? Yes, and then I'll bite it off.
Well, whatever. It's yes and. It's see.
Now whatever comes after the end is your choice.
Until you start with the yes.
Yeah, now
that's the part that gets you in trouble. It's not the end that gets you in trouble. It's the yes that gets you in trouble.
Well, I think the problem is yes and is for professionals, and I think they should let you start off slow by saying okay, and then work your way up to okay, and then let you go from there to yep, sure, and then go from okay to yep, sure, to eventually get to yes and you get to yes and once you're at a professional level. A lot of people are teaching you yes and you're
listening right now. They're probably saying I could really go for like a Polish Brazilian comedian, and because this stuff is just boring as hell, and that's what they're saying. I can read minds of all the listeners right now, all billion of them.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
What are we gonna do?
No.
What?
You're gonna get your Polish comedian friends?
I'm not. No. No. Okay, go ahead.
All right, we want to hear you say no a few more thousand times.
I'm sorry. I can't.
No end. It's no.
No
end.
but. No but.
All right. Now the guy put me on the spot. See, and this is what I'm thinking. I think Tony Walker has some kind of
mojo,
homoerotic tendencies in his writing here, because Brucey, the maitre d' of the wedding, is a openly gay guy, and then he has the bride being a guy. I don't know, but
that's also a shorthand. That's just a shorthand, because a lot of caterers, if at least in the comic sense, the caterers are almost always flamboyant and stylish. It's kind of like having a gay music director in the church.
I don't know.
It's shorthand.
I don't know what kind of catering holes you're at. I don't know if you know this.
Catering holes.
I think you go with the gay correct.
Other kind of catering holes. Yeah,
because on Long Island, all the maitre d's and people at weddings are all like, my soup's getting cold. They're kind of mobbed up Italian guys. They're not.
Yeah.
But Brucey is a flamboyant, and he's not gay. He's playing a flamboyant gay guy.
Right.
But he put me on the spot where we were lost in the script, just as we're totally lost. Like the script has been burnt to fucking hell. He comes over to me and delivers a line, and he goes, about me. And he just like points at me and like is waiting for a line. And I got no script line. I'm like, what the fuck? And all I said was, you did it. I go, all I can come up with. I don't know what the, and I'm regretting that because I have no idea that whether, because I think
So
I ruined
this is what happened. This is what happened. They dropped Matt off. You know, they got in the shuttle, came back home, and they dropped Matt off first so they could talk about him. And so one guy, you know, Tony says, "Thanks, Matt. You're a lifesaver. I appreciate you." And they let him off. And then everybody else says to Tony, "What the fuck? How did he get the role?" And Tony's like, "Look, he's a friend of mine. He's reliable. I like him." And they're like, "Don't have him back."
Wait, Tony said
I
I'm
gave
his
him a great
friend?
line. He goes,
Guys, I'll be
"You
right
did it."
back. We have a patio door being delivered. I gotta go open the garage door. I'll be right back.
What a fucking
Why don't you bring the patio door in through the patio door? Sounds like you don't have an opening.
Fucking weird excuse is that? We're getting a patio door delivered.
Yeah, through the garage.
That's the weirdest excuse I ever heard. But Tony called me his friend. He really called me his friend. Tony.
Well, this is in my scenario. In my scenario, after they drop you off and they continue to ride with the short bus.
Unfortunately, I wish that were true. That he dropped me off first. He dropped. I got because I had to go to his house where my car was, and then I still had to drive another 2 hours after that. And you know me. If you know anything about me, you know this about me.
When you drive and you shoot videos, you're terrible. I learned that.
Well, that's another thing, but you know I love to get high. You know that, right? That I love to get high. And I hadn't gotten high all day, but I knew I left my weed in my car, and I couldn't wait till I get home. And so sitting in traffic on the George Washington Bridge, the only thing I'm thinking of, I just really, really want to get to my car and roll a fucking fatty for the ride home. And then I did, and it was leftover really good white weed. And I was like,
so is it more potent or less potent when you say leftover?
It was very well. I don't know if it was more, but it's more potent than what I've been smoking for the last week from what a recent purchase. It's the white weed, so it's going to be stronger than anything, even if it's old. And so 3 o'clock in the morning, again, I'm dead tired, and I'm driving a long drive, and I think I was tripping out. I was like heavily inspired to write music by the time I got home at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I started writing lyrics. I didn't get to bed until 6:30. Finally set the alarm.
At that point, you don't even go to bed. You just come to church. I'm just.
I thought of that, but I would have been like totally like useless then.
I'm just. You couldn't have been. I don't think he could have been worse than I was trying to run the boards for the Reverend while he was, and I had a pretty rough night myself. Like I said, I got stuck in the rabbit hole. And that's just it. When sometimes, here's the deal. My wife was only gone for the weekend, and I need her to be gone for like a week or so, because the first day or two that she's gone, I'm actually missing. I'm like in mourning. The first 2 days she's gone, and I have to like adjust, and I'm like missing my wife and all these things. And so by the time I stop missing her, she's on her way back. So I usually spend 2 sleepless nights, without her. And so, Saturday night I was still like sleepless, and I'm trying to run the board Sunday morning for the Reverend, and I was like fucking up everything.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry.
Well, not everything, just a lot of.
We can blame this all on my wife, because I did get up to do church, but then my wife was in the kitchen cleaning, and if my wife is in the kitchen cleaning, I really shouldn't be allowed in the house. This is her thing. It's like she doesn't want to see me. I'm not allowed. Don't walk on the floor. I just clean that floor. Don't. What am I supposed to do? Float? Don't come in this room. Don't touch the sink. Don't go near the stove. Don't go near the coffee maker. Oh, you getting coffee grinder? I'm not allowed to touch anything. So I can't have my coffee. I can't wake up, especially on 2 hours sleep or less than 2 hours sleep. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to fucking blow it off and go get in a coma.
Well,
but it's my wife's fault.
I saw a text that you put out earlier, a group text that said, I probably won't be at church. I won't be home till 2 a.m. And when you said probably, and I went, okay, we'll just plan like he's not going to be there.
Well, I tried.
So
tried, but I couldn't do it.
I mean, no biggie. And so, but at least this time, I was better prepared, because there's some things. Here's the funny thing. And it took me a while to realize this. I set up stuff the night before, like the videos and stuff that I want to put in, and then I close it up. They're gone the next day. They don't. Once you close it, it disappears. And I did all this thinking it's going to buy me time in the morning. So I'm like, okay, I'll set this video and set this up. The slideshow. Here we go. Bam. And then I turn it off and go. And I try to go to bed, but I don't go to bed. I get stuck in a rabbit hole, and I'm doing my phone the whole night, playing video games. And
it's good. I'm not sure that's accurate. I mean, it doesn't on my end. It's just weird.
Yeah.
If I load stuff up in the morning.
No, I mean like down here at the where says present or invite.
Oh yeah.
Like if anything I put down in there is gone the next day.
Oh well, why don't you just delete some of Ron's crap and load it up where it's supposed to?
Because I don't know what I can delete because he's always coming back.
Yeah, but you could delete any of his shit. Make him fucking reload it when he gets back. That's what I would do. Fuck. He lost his seat. He moved his. You move your feet, you lose your seat, or whatever they say about that. I would just say, hey, Ron.
And he doesn't. When Ron, actually, you notice he's more talkative now that he's only on the show once in a while. But after he shoots his wad of voice, then he goes to the sound effects. That's what they're there for, so he doesn't have to talk. But the sound effects are the same ones almost every day. He's
like Harpo Marx.
Yeah, but Harpo Marx. Yeah.
Or he's like Teller.
Yeah.
Ron Teller Marx. All right. Speaking of sound effects, let's play news. And then Stevens will be back from his door lie or whatever he was. And then maybe this Coons dude. What's the Coons dude's name?
Corey M. Coons.
Corey M. Coons. Corey M. Coons, not Rack Coons. Corey M. Coons will be here. Probably not. He'll probably sniff us too and not show up. I was excited about it. You know what? I never know because Friday I thought Friday's show was going to suck, and then the Bar Girls guys were really good. They were fun.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
So anyway, news.
Former U.S. Representative George Santos was sentenced Friday to 87 months, which is over 7 years, in federal prison.
The sentencing follows his guilty plea to charges including wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. The judge rejected a defense request for a shorter 24-month sentence and gave Santos until July 25th to surrender. Santos, who was expelled from Congress last year, admitted to misusing campaign donor funds and lying to election officials. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Pakistan's military reports that its forces engaged militants attempting to cross the border from Afghanistan this weekend.
The army stated that 54 militants were killed in the operation in the country's northwestern region. This clash occurs amid ongoing tensions and security concerns along the volatile border area. Pakistan has frequently dealt with cross-border incursions and militant activity originating from Afghanistan. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Canadian authorities are investigating a deadly incident in Vancouver where a driver plowed into a crowd at a street festival Saturday.
At least 9 people were killed and numerous others injured during the Filipino cultural celebration. Police have detained a 30-year-old man in connection with the incident, which Canada's Prime Minister described as a car-ramming attack. More than 20 people were reported injured in the chaos that unfolded at the Heritage Festival, and the investigation into the motive is ongoing. Lawrence Keller
Probably Chevy,
this is the latest news headlines.
That's irony.
I'm going to call this a car ramming.
Public health officials report a continued rise in measles cases across the United States. Nearly 900 cases have now been confirmed in 29 states so far this year.
This marks a significant increase compared to recent years, prompting renewed calls for vaccination. Health authorities are working to contain outbreaks and raise awareness about the highly contagious nature of the virus. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention urges individuals to ensure their measles vaccinations are up to date. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Reports indicate the son of the CIA's deputy director has been killed in action while fighting for the Russian military.
This unusual situation involves the child of a high-ranking U.S. intelligence official, enlisting with forces often considered adversarial. The circumstances surrounding his enlistment and death have not been fully detailed publicly. It marks a personally tragic event intersecting with complex international relations. Further information is awaited regarding this sensitive matter. Jim Kender reporting.
The United States government has temporarily halted the cancellation of student visas following legal challenges.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, is now tasked with developing a new system for reviewing visa revocations. This pause means that international students whose visas were potentially targeted for cancellation will see their status remain active for now. The move aims to ensure a fairer process amid concerns raised about previous revocation procedures. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Not necessarily the latest anything. I don't know. Measles, whatever. Measles on the rise. They're just going to continue. No vaccinations, right? We're still totally. I'm not
fucking stupid.
I'm not anti-vax. I just don't like vaccinations. What the? It keeps maintaining. I'm not anti-vax. I just say that no vaccine has ever been proved safe and effective. But I'm not anti-vax. So we're all going to die. We're all going to die.
Eventually, sure, we all are going to die.
Right.
But in the meantime, good brew. If you're going to die, die with a clean colon. Good brew. Bro.
I don't know. It didn't say anything about clean colon. It's supposed to clear the it's whatever good
probiotics.
Bacteria in your gut.
Yeah.
Right.
The kids look like retards.
Speaking of Alex Jones, have you seen the latest? Alex Jones had Nazi Nick on. Did you see this, Stephen?
No, I didn't.
You really need to see this. You know why I'm saying you really need to see this?
Bunch of one-liners.
Well, Alex Jones has been on Ozempic or something, and he's losing weight. Like he claims he's not on and his wife is leaving him. But he brought out. No, why do you wait for the Nazi Nick interview to do this? But he brought out these frog puppets, and he wanted to explain how to turn gay frogs back to heterosexual frogs.
And so you would stick your hand up a frog. That's how you do it.
He was seriously doing a demonstration on how to get frogs to butt fuck each other.
Well, first you have to put on some soft, sweet music for the frogs, and then you got to lay out a platter of flies, and then you got to tell the male frog that the female frog is going to love him forever, even though she's going to be a backstabbing tramp like my ex-wife.
See what you just did there?
Do they realize that frogs are one of the species that can change gender? It has nothing to do with
the frogs are trans now. What the fuck?
They've been doing that for like millions of years. You know, millions of years.
The Earth is only 6,000 years old.
Millions of years. The Earth is only 6,000 years old.
The Earth's only 6,000 years old. It was created by God and his henchmen.
But let's just say that Stephen thinks that what he just did was like strange or absurd there. Nothing compared to the absurdity of Alex Jones actually trying to do this as a serious bit with his little frog puppets. You got to see the video, but
I'll have to watch it.
No, I'm not. I can't.
You have to.
Maybe I'll get some frog puppets and I'll do a parody of it.
Required viewing.
No, if you want to parody it, get some toad puppets. First of all, his audience won't know the difference.
I don't know. Slaptail seems to have a thing for Amish,
Irish.
Whatever.
Well, no, now he called me Irish. Seamus O'Floppy Tits.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I forgot you were floppy tits.
Oh, you knew that was Seamus. I was thinking Seamus.
No, Seamus. Yeah. Let's shame us all. He's shamed us all. Now, Filipinos in Vancouver, this is surprising. First of all, what's the problem with Filipino people? They don't bother anybody. Why are you running them down with a car?
I don't know.
What are they doing in Vancouver? This seems like a weird place to get a lot of Filipinos.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I don't know what type of car it was. So if the car was like
the ramming car.
Oh, Winnebago.
It was a Rammer 101 or something.
If the car was seated up high, like jacked up, Filipinos are only like 4 feet tall. He may not have seen them. I'm just saying, he may not have seen them until he hit the first one, and he goes, "What was that?" And by the time he realizes he should stop, he's already hit 20 or 30 more.
See, and now that was where Stephen comes from. And I mean, where his grandpa,
they would call that a good start. Yeah, where Stephen comes from.
No, they would call that roadkill dinner, and they'd be eating
roadkill stew. First of all, And also, do you think he was driving a Dodge Ram?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the irony. It was probably a Chevy.
A Filipino Ram. But
at least it wasn't a Hyundai.
So now,
yeah, the Hyundai would have hit the first person and stopped. Like, what the hell?
Maybe it should have been a Hyundai.
I say that jokingly because I have a Hyundai, and it's Hyundai. I think if it's under 50,000, it's a Hyundai, and if it's over 50,000, it's a Hyundai.
Like Target and Target. Like if you spend under $50 at Target, it's Target. But if you spend more than that, it's Target.
Right. I have a Hyundai. I have a Hyundai that I park outside of the Target.
Nice. You should also take it to JC Penney.
But how much thought had to go into this? Well, what are we going to call this? Well, the guy rammed people with his car. Why do we call it car ramming? It's. I mean, how much thought?
It's Canada. They were going to call it vehicular whopping, but they decided that was not mean enough. So,
vehicular whopping, is that an Italian slur? Yeah,
no,
Brooklyn. Vehicular whopping. And Brooklyn's not Italian anymore. Brooklyn's all black, by the way. It's all black.
Now, actually, in Canada, I think they just when you honk the horn, it doesn't go. It goes, pardon me, excuse me.
It goes, sorry. Sorry.
Out of the way, you hoser. Go get some back bacon, eh?
You hose teasers. Get out of my way, hose teasers.
Sorry. And then they'll blink and say, a boot to make a turn, a boot left, a boot right.
In a boot 300 feet.
Yeah,
speaking we do have one author on this week because you just reminded me that Canadian Mountie guy who is with us.
Dudley Do-Right is going to be here.
Dudley Do-Right. We called him
Dudley Do-Right. Yeah.
No.
He's a former Mountie who is now turned author.
Snidely.
But he's been with us before. You'll recognize his face. He looks in his photo. He looks like the Tiger King guy. You know, Tiger King guy that what's his name?
Is that the guy that got the
Go Exotic?
Yeah, got to go to jail. Oh, I thought you meant the ones from Vegas, Siegfried and Roy. That Tiger. Oh, those are the Tiger Queens. Never mind.
I think he stole some of their act. That's where he started his Tiger King thing, was in Vegas.
Yeah, he stole his act because they were Tiger Queens. He goes, "Oh, I'm gonna be the Tiger King,"
which is weird because the Tiger King's actually gay.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know if Siegfried and Roy is actually gay, but I know Tiger King is.
One of them is. I just don't know which one is Siegfried and which one is Roy.
Watch Roy be the gay one.
The one who
don't know. They know.
The one who's still alive is Siegfried. The one who got eaten by the tiger is Roy. That's what. The one who's no longer with us. The dead.
I don't think either of them died. He just got attacked.
No, Roy. I think Roy got eaten. Didn't he get eaten?
No, he got attacked, but I think he lived.
Shit, so I just figured he got eaten.
Now, is it Siegfried, like S-I-G? I'm just going to do
Hale.
it. Yeah, it's Sig with an S, not with a Z. Zig.
Oh, then the S part I got is the other letters. I have no idea.
I know there's a G in there. There's a G and a D at the end. That's what you know. SGD.
Oh, Siegfried and Roy were actually gay lovers?
Oh, see that? He stole the whole act then from them.
He did.
Yeah, but I still don't know which is which.
Roy was the one with the dark hair.
Siegfried and Roy were both cremated and their ashes are together.
Really? They're both dead? The other one died of a broken heart when the first one got shit out by the tiger?
One of them, Roy Horn, who died on May 8th, 2020 from COVID-19 complications, and Siegfried Fishbacher, who died of cancer in January 13, 2021.
So Steve was right. Neither one of them got eaten by the tiger. I could have sworn he got eaten by the tiger.
He got attacked really bad.
Maybe I'm thinking of Steve Irwin. Remember Steve Irwin?
Steve Irwin was killed by a stingray.
Oh, yeah.
Stingray. Right. That's a tough way to go.
I know, dude. The dude played with poisonous snakes and alligators and sharks and crocodiles, and the dude gets killed by a fucking taser napkin.
Pretty much. And stingrays are like very docile creatures, except for that little Barbie on the end.
I know, little Steve on the Barbie.
That's right.
It's like a bee, just don't fuck with the stinger, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're not supposed to swim over them apparently, because that's how they sting, is they sting upwards, and he went above it and right in the heart.
We're almost
so he missed that day in class. He's supposed to go yes and.
We have 5 seconds to get to introduce our guest. Go ahead, do it.
Here is Corey M. Coons.
That's not
singer-songwriter Corey M. Coons.
That's all you're gonna do?
That's all I know.
I don't know what else he does. I know he sings.
You said 5 seconds. That's what I had.
All right.
Yes, and.
I wish I could see. My glasses are just so fogged.
Yes, and.
Their glasses are not foggy. They're just thick. It takes a while for light to penetrate.
I just want to say I would never, ever, not in my wildest dreams, ever interrupt you when you were doing something. Corey M. Coons. I wish I could read this. Here we go. Corey M. Coons is a professional independent performer, musician, and award-winning songwriter from Eastern Ontario, Canada. I don't know. We'll have to ask the Mountie. How do you pronounce that? Just south of Ottawa.
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 That's not how the natives say it.
Ottawa, I say.
Yeah, that's not how the natives say it, Matt.
With over 30 years of experience in music, traveling and performing in popular cover bands through the 90s in both Ontario and the United States, in high energy acts such as Heads of Tails, as well as the band US.
Are you a retard?
I am. Well, I think we've established that. Here now from the great country from the north, Canada, is Corey M. Coons. Say hello to Corey M. Coons. Good morning, Corey.
Good morning,
Corey,
guys.
First, I'd like to apologize on behalf of our government. I think that the new regime that we have here has been really unfair to Canadians. They don't realize how important you guys are to us. And having said that and apologize, I will probably be deported. So you may not see me again after today. It was nice meeting you.
So, Corey, it's fair to say you're dying to become a 51st state, right?
Well, you know what? I'm open to anything right now, so I really don't.
Really, anything?
Well, I'm not a fan of what's happened in my country in the last few years, so we'll leave it at that. But I'm not going to get political, and there's no need to apologize to me. I'll leave it at that. So.
All right. Well, if you're not going to get political, you're showing up on the wrong show, because these guys, they force it on everybody. They force their politics down everybody's throat.
I'm so not a forcer.
All right.
And I don't do it either. I lovingly place my politics down people's throats.
Okay, first of all, it has to be consensual.
Right.
I don't know what's wrong with my mic needs a little Viagra or something here today. So, Corey, now, are you still doing cover music, or just doing it when you perform now, strictly all original music?
I still do some covers. I do a lot of my own stuff. It's kind of the roots rock vein, I guess. Roots rock Americana sort of style is where my sort of wheelhouse is now, and some of the covers that I do are still stylistically that genre too. So, but depends on the show. Depends on what it is.
For personal reasons, because I have a show booked for the end of May, and it's supposed to be an all-original show. And if I want to do some covers, I have to declare them with the venue beforehand so that they could pay royalty. And this is the first. I've been performing for 45 years. I've never heard of this before ever. It seems like the rights organizations are cracking down on this stuff, or it's the first I've ever heard of this. Declare what covers you're going to do in advance, if you're going to do any at all, so that they can pay the rights on them. Is that something you're familiar with?
Not so much. I mean, I've seen that happen at certain places, but I'm never asked to do that. If I play covers, I just do my show, and I mix in whatever I want to do, and I don't really adhere to any of that sort of stuff. I guess I've never been really asked about it too much. So,
yeah. Are you performing with a band, or you're going out doing acoustic solo shows?
It's more acoustic shows these days. Sometimes I bring my my lead guitar player Mark with me, who's from Cornwall, which is also Eastern Ontario region here. Or sometimes it's my drummer Kevin comes out with a cajon drum, and we do just the two of us. Or sometimes it's all three of us. So it depends on the show. But it's mostly acoustic based. It's I don't have a lot of full like 4-piece band shows with a full setup with drums and all the fixings, I guess you'd say. So.
It's strictly in Canada?
Mostly Eastern Ontario right now. Yeah, I'm performing along the St. Lawrence Seaway Valley region, and local venues. I did get a chance the last couple of years to get down to Nashville to attend the Josie Music Awards, but that's not performing per se. That's more just going down and taking part with all the great independent nominated artists, from all over the world. So
now I had difficulty describing, because you say Nashville. I did sense some country influence in your music. Well, if you had to, and I'm sure you have had to many times over your career, describe what kind of music you play to my audience. Let's hear what your description of your music.
Yeah, so there'd be some country rock influences in the music for sure. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of across the board a little bit. I would say Americana meets country rock and roots rock, classic rock influence as well in there, and the original stuff. So it's kind of evolved over the years. I started out more classic rock when I did play cover bands and stuff.
The term Americana, is that because I'm not sure how where your history of this term comes from, but it comes from the people who invented Americana were the band, and the band was almost exclusively Canadian, except for Levon Helm, the drummer, who went up to Canada, which is to be in the Hawks. But why didn't they call it Americana, Canadicana?
Well, they do have a term here called Canadiana or Canadiana, however you want to say it.
I did not know that. See?
Yeah, they do. But a lot of the stuff I'm more influenced from would be a lot of the more Americana scene music from the States, like your Tom Petty and your, Mellencamp and stuff like that. And a lot of the earlier like 80s stuff like Bon Jovi and all kinds of stuff. It's more like I'm of course there's a lot of Canadian influences that I listened to, like Bryan Adams over the years and all kinds of stuff. But I just think stylistically.
What happened to Bryan Adams? He was making hits one after another, and then
he cut himself. He cut himself singing like a knife, and he bled out.
I thought he got eaten by a tiger.
He cuts like a knife.
He didn't get eaten by a tiger.
Yeah.
No, he's still going. He's got a new album out right now, actually, but I haven't been following him too much in the last few years. I was more influenced by, like you said, the 80s style of Bryan Adams and the 90s with Waking Up the Neighbors, that album and all that stuff. But he's still writing. He's still a great songwriter and still doing his thing. So, I mean, hey.
I have a question about your song Crumbs. I have a question about the song Crumbs.
Yeah.
You have a line that says basically the song's about a working man. I don't know if it's it is autobiographical because you talk about your wife and your pretty wife, I think, right?
Yeah, I guess in a way, but it's more of a storytelling. Yeah.
Okay, so the working man song, but you say at night you don't close your doors, and there's no crumbs on the floor. Now I want to know if there are no crumbs because since you don't lock your doors, you're expecting guests and you swept them up, or are times so hard that even you don't have any crumbs because yes, we consume everything.
I think it's more like, the working man didn't have a lot. If you think of it in storytelling terms, maybe the Southern working man didn't have a lot, so they had a very clean house. They kind of didn't have a lot left over. So I guess you'd say there's no crumbs left on the floor. Kind of that was maybe the whole idea behind that. And but I mean, you can take it for what you want to take it. I mean, it's always open for interpretation, I guess.
Well, I was just curious because I grew up in Baltimore, and during the daytime, outdoors were always open, and so we always had to have a clean house because my mother says you never know who's going to stop in.
Yeah,
so well, that's why there were no crumbs on the floor at our house. It wasn't because we weren't sloppy and weren't wasteful,
Well, and the line "ain't no lock on the front door" is like basically like you said, you're open and you're welcoming to people, and everybody was out there to help each other, sort of thing, and that was kind of the the idea behind that. Ain't no crumbs in the kitchen
Just get yourself a dog, and there'll never be crumbs on the floor.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you a lyrics first guy, or do you write the lyrics first and adapt them to music, or does it all come at once? What's your writing style like?
Well, everyone's different. Sometimes I just have a really cool, maybe a guitar riff I'm working on, and then just kind of get the arrangement down for the guitar pattern, and then maybe start adding lyrics to it. Or sometimes I might have a melody humming in my head and just build around a chorus idea or maybe a verse idea. So, but it's never one sort of cookie cutter like type of way I do it. So it's just kind of emotional inspiration at times too.
Have you used AI at all to help?
What's that? Sorry.
Have you used AI?
That is the correct response. That is the correct response.
That is the correct response. Have you used AI for help at all? Like there's a lot of these things and I have not tried any of these yet, but I'm seeing them. They're getting pushed on me. Help you finish your lyrics for your song, or write your song lyric AI apps to help.
No, I don't use any of that. I'm not really haven't considered it. And I see, some of the artists are starting to do that, and it's not for me, I don't think. I mean, I think you're taking away from the human element for sure. So that's just kind of where I stand on it. I mean, I don't know where it's all going, but I mean, I don't know. I think you lose that human element, the human touch for sure with AI.
I would mostly agree with you. Well, I was high on the white weed, so this is the thought that while I was driving, I was thinking it can be useful in giving you some kind of ideas or inspiration. So I thought about this, like just plugging stuff up, because it comes up with melodies I would have not thought of on my own. And so I can put something in, hear a little bit of a trace of that, break it down into stems, find that melody piece, what it is, and then just incorporate like one line of a melodic phrase or something from that. And I find it pretty useful in that. But then again, remember the caveat, you have to be pretty high on white weed to get there. But I do find there is a use for it, and I'm kind of inspired by if it can be adapted to be a tool rather than a writing. You don't want it writing the song for you, and I have had some of those recently that have really floored me as far as what it can do really quickly. But there's what's the point in that? But I think if you can get some inspiration for some new ideas that you would not have found in another way, I think it can be useful. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Well, if you find some inspiration in it, I guess that's a positive. Yeah. As long as it doesn't become a crutch, like you're kind of saying, like, I think if you're depending on that all the time, then kind of loses its meaning for me, I guess. But yeah, I mean, if somebody gets something out of it and they can make use of that, then hey, cool.
Steven, you offended by that crutch comment?
Absolutely, 1,000%. In fact, I, you know what? No 51st state for you guys.
Well, you can't. You can take the place of Indiana. We'll put that up north, whatever.
It's a fair trade.
Yeah. Right. Do you have any personal crutches, like things that in songwriting that you find yourself leaning on, or not even so much songwriting?
You mean like chords and
yeah, notes? Well, I mean, same ruts of chords, like for me, a lot of times I find myself just almost every time I pick up an acoustic guitar, I automatically go to a G chord. Like, why do I go there? And then I have to smack myself and get out of that.
That's because your vocal range is limited to like three notes.
Well, it's a step up from when Matt used to go after A minor.
I think you're thinking of yourself, Stephen. Every accusation is a confession with Stephen. But do you find yourself getting into ruts like that where you just similar patterns, similar progressions, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, that can happen. I write a lot of stuff in G as well. I mean, G and D, I guess, are a lot of the songs are based in those chords too. But I think it just all depends on the vibe and the emotion maybe I'm feeling at the time. If I feel like it wants to be a little more of a emotional song, maybe a minor chord will help out with that direction, like an A minor. I think if it's for me, it's just kind of about telling the story. I mean, I don't really care if
Stephen got excited.
I don't really care if it's the same chords. I mean, there's only so many chords you can use. So if it's a good song, it's a good song. It doesn't really matter to me what chord it's going to be in. So, I do tune down a half step with all my stuff though. I'm I'm one of those guys.
I'm down a full step, so.
Are you? Yeah.
You can't step.
Yeah, he's been relegated to wheelchair use.
Yeah, Matt threw me off a roof, and I landed on my legs, and the rest is history.
Now I'm curious. I'm curious about something. Speaking of Steven, down here, if you have a disability, you get like these little stickers that they hang in your mirror. Do they use those in Canada?
Oh yeah, and parking lots, parking spots, yeah.
Oh, the same ones as like international. I just don't know. Honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know if it's like an American phenomenon, or if you have them and it's just totally different. Like the little blue tag.
Something on your dashboard or hanging from your mirror or something. Yeah, that tells if you're handicapped.
Is it the blue tag with the white handicap wheelchair icon? I'm just curious because I haven't. When I was in Canada, I didn't notice it. We were all walking, so we didn't notice the crippled people.
Wow, disrespectful. That's fine. My family doesn't notice the black people when we go out and about either, you dick.
Oh, you do? Actually, I know y'all
when
notice
they're hanging
them.
they're swinging from the trees, you know.
Yeah, I know.
This is my family tree.
You just make a note so you go back later after dark. I know you know where they are.
We just crossed the street and locked
the door. It was a suicide reference that's going to get us thrown off, right? Not that.
Probably.
Sorry, Corey. You got into the middle of a family spat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And by that I mean we already spit. That's a past tense.
Hopefully, I don't laugh at something you're trying to be serious at, though.
No, I encourage it. Everything is laughable here.
What's serious? What the hell is that? I don't.
It's a radio station. Yeah, it's a radio thing company.
Yeah.
Matt, with your mustache so dark, this works so well right now.
When do you have to go to work?
11:30. Corey laughed. That's a win.
Right. So we have Corey's Sonic Bids scrolling across the bottom there. I don't know if there was someplace else a link that you wanted me to send people to. That's where they can sample your music, see your EPK and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. You could, the website as well, or you can do the link tree. I don't know if I sent that along or not, but yeah, that's cool.
I didn't get any links, so I had to Google you. Well, no, I did get the EPK link. That's how I found it.
I'm curious about something because if I just want to know if I got the right interpretation. Tycoons was back like 1999. My understanding is that kind of like yacht rock. I didn't hear it just because it's not like a link or anything. It's just mentioned. But I thought the description almost made it sound like yacht rock because it was a reference to boats or I can't remember now. You can go and tell me about it.
It was more my classic rock inspired band, was just kind of a play on my last name as well too. So just Tycoons was just kind of the band name, and it was something we did for a few years. We played a lot of cover music too, but it started as original idea concept for a band, but we just kind of mixed in a few of our own songs as we went along. And it became more of played a lot of fairs and festivals, and we just ended up doing a lot more cover music and crowd pleasing songs. So
do you ever venture into the US and play, or is it strictly up in Canada?
Did you hear me read that bio eloquently about the united?
Not eloquently. It wasn't eloquently.
It wasn't elegantly, and I think you were leaning away from the mic for part of it, so I may not have heard it.
United stats.
You're
okay.
Matt.
I know. Well, my glasses, my eyes are actually still.
I think it came out. I think it came out. He performs in Canada.
Right.
That's why.
That's a pretty good impersonation. I think it's pretty good. Spot on. Not bad.
I've in the past, in the late 90s, I was touring with a band that was a cover band, and we did a lot of the Southeast in the United States. But I was a bass player, harmony singer. I wasn't the lead vocalist in the band, and that wasn't really it wasn't my band. I joined. I was with them for a year. That was the band Us, or US, as you mentioned.
Right.
And so I did the States a lot through most of '98, and then since then, when I came back and started doing a lot more of my own material and getting more serious with writing and stuff, I focused more on the Eastern Ontario region, but sometimes into Northern New York State. We played some shows over the years, more in the early 2000s, I guess, like Ogdensburg, New York, Messina, New York, just border town sort of regions. So, but I'd like to eventually soon maybe get back down and play some more stuff, play some more shows in the States. But
so what kind of bass do you play? Is it fretted bass, or do you play a real bass like a real man that doesn't have frets?
Yeah, I wish I had a fretless bass, but no, yeah, my bass is a fretless, or not a fretless, it's a fretted bass. So.
Fretted. Don't fret it so much.
I don't play bass as much anymore, but I just got my wife's uncle actually just let me use a nice acoustic bass, a Fender acoustic bass. So
when you say acoustic bass, you mean like a acoustic guitar body type thing, not a stand up.
Yeah, no, not a
double bass. Yeah,
double bass.
Hello, he meant a regular bass.
Regular acoustic bass, yeah, not a stand up or a double bass, not that.
Steven, don't make me come to Indiana and smack that hat off your head. Don't
So
ever.
I used to have a double bass.
Yeah.
And because there's no frets or anything, I used to my hand was like this. Whenever I did this, this was G for me always. This was G, and so I adjusted the height of the bass so that when I did this, that was G, and I knew that's where everything else was based on that. So I had the little foot, the leg that comes at the bottom of the bass. I had that marked, so I knew how tall to make my bass. So when I did this, that was G.
Cool.
And that's what the G in GD stands for.
Interesting story. Are you guys familiar with the studio in Memphis, the legendary Sun Recording Studio?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got to record the two latest singles that I've released, Crumbs 24 and Faded Glory, Land of the Free. They were done in Memphis. And so the interesting story, you're talking about the peg on the bottom of the bass. There's still the markings on the floor from the original place where those stand-up basses where they recorded back in the day, like Elvis and all those guys and Johnny Cash, like those stand-up bass, there's marks on the floor. The original markings are still there. It's pretty cool.
Now, do they use it like a pole vaulter goes in and say, okay, you stand here and you just put your is that
so?
I think that actually cool. There was some kind of important resonance about that where they built that hole for the bass, because it's part of the room resonance or something. But here's the thing: I'm glad you brought this up because I've been watching a lot of old rockabilly type of stuff. Bill Haley doing a video, early music film they called them because there was no video, but the bass player is. Like the guitar player takes a solo, he's got a Les Paul through an amp, and that's normal. Then the bass player takes a solo, and he's got to turn it on his side, and sit on it, and you could tell he's not playing it. It's like miming it to it. But all these bass players did these on stage. They were expected to do these weird things with this really awkward instrument. And they were dancing on it. Very, very uncool. It looks just retarded. But it's a difficult instrument to play, and you can see all the slapping done too. So it was like a rhythmic instrument as much as it was, bass and melody stuff. It was.
Yeah, it's a percussion and a string instrument.
Yeah. I've never played one. I've kind of just tried one out sort of, but I never tried to get into playing one. I'd like to learn that someday. I think it'd be pretty cool for sure.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever played? There's an instrument called the stick, and that's the one I want to get my hands on one of those. I still want to get one of those. I find them. Yeah. I find them fascinating. I never played one. But I had a stick you can play. Like a poster. It was a life-size poster with the diagram of it. So I used to tap on that just so I can get used to it. Because one day I planned on buying one, but they were always so pricey I could never afford one.
What a weird way to say you kept male model posters on your walls, GD. That's a really weird thing to admit, man.
He said he couldn't get wait to get his hands on one, but
on a stick. I know I got me a little excited.
He really can't wait to get his lips around it. The stick.
Well, the sheer fact that I'm using, I'm using two hands. No, the sheer fact that I'm using two hands for the stick eliminates you guys. Okay.
Wow, disrespectful. Ouch, my manhood. Ow.
So, if you're gonna go homoerotic, let's go full homoerotic. Okay.
Right. So
again, I apologize, Corey. You got into the middle of a family spat, which is the past tense of spit.
And he changed his last name for the show just for you.
Oh, I did not. My name has always been Fenderson.
No, I think he was talking about Corey.
Oh.
His last name used to be Black Gentleman, but he was coming on here. He was like, "Well,
I apologize, Corey. We're not usually this good and well behaved." Wow.
Yeah, we're trying to match.
Where's everybody from here? You're from New York, Matt, right?
Obviously, yeah. You can't mistake the accent. And Stephen is from the place where they lynch people like GD. And
I'm from Indiana.
And I'm from a southern Virginia, actually. Well, Virginia, but actually she was raised in Baltimore. Well, Maryland technically is a southern state, so a southern Virginia is where I hail from. Technically, it was a C-section, so I didn't even come out through the vagina. Never mind.
Me neither. High five.
I'm familiar with West Virginia.
Right. Yeah, West Virginia. That's right. Here we go.
Other side.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of from, MTS
I love driving
Records,
through Virginia. I love
MTS Records is Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania based. Now, most of the artists that I've talked to on there have done very well in markets, not Pennsylvania, not even New York so much. South Africa, they're doing well on the Spotify charts. Australia, parts of Europe, and all this kind of stuff. Do you find that too? You're getting a lot of traffic on Spotify or the streaming networks from foreign countries?
Well, it was that way, but I mean, things have changed with Spotify now over the last year or so. I guess they've really cut back on if you're not getting the streams. If you get like under 1,000 streams, they basically don't even like bother with you anymore. So I don't even know how much of a factor Spotify is right now. When I was talking with Michael Stover with about all that stuff, I mean, I'm not even paying attention to what the streams are. I guess now it's just more whatever your YouTube views are and stuff. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
So is YouTube the preferred platform for publishing stuff, for putting new stuff out?
Again, I have no idea because there's really nothing to be made unless you're like multi-million streams or whatever it is. These, if you're an independent artist, it's pretty tough to make money. If you're trying to concentrate on making money from your streams and from your YouTube plays and all that, I mean, it's going to take you a long time.
That goes, and I'm not saying you're wrong or any of this stuff, but we've had a number of artists on in the last month or so, not necessarily MTS artists in the last month or so, but a couple of people who have, one guy was being humble about buying the ability to buy 2 houses and put 4 kids through college and all that stuff.
I know, no shit.
Really? Yes, being humble about having 2 homes with 2 studios in them.
Okay.
Well, he calls them abodes, as if
humble abodes.
That makes it
home studios.
Well, actually, I think I called them abodes. I think he called them homes, houses.
But the point is, as an independent musician, just releasing online and all that stuff, being able to make that kind of money and put 4 kids through college and buy 2 humble abodes and 2 humble abodes.
Wait, hold on. The one guy, he had one thing that Corey might not have. He gets to go into churches and ask people for money.
Oh
yeah.
Remember, right. he got to get the love offerings at the churches that he performs at, and he ends up walking out with a nice paycheck.
Oh, I thought the love offerings was. Never mind. I thought that was more sexual.
I don't know.
No.
That
the
guy
love
wasn't
offerings.
A pastor. He's now moved on to doing Christian music, but he's not a pastor.
No, but right. So even in the churches I grew up in, anytime there was a musical guest or a guest pastor, they would take a love offering where they would do a secondary offering asking people to give to the guest.
I grew up in Baltimore, and if you had a jar on a counter that said for love offerings, you got DNA samples.
No, I promise you it's a church thing. And yeah, anytime there's a musical guest,
like we don't have churches pastor, in Baltimore.
Maybe it was a Southern church thing. I don't know, but it's
a lot of that comes.
It does.
And Corey, I apologize for you getting caught in the middle of another family's bad, which is a past.
It's funny. You're apologizing more than the Canadian would.
I know. Jeez, GD, quit.
Are Canadians known for their apologizing? I did not know.
Sorry,
that's always been the running joke. Is Canadian. If I run into you and I fall back, I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay, look, check this out. Look, here's how some Canadians are. I have a good friend in Canada. His name's Byron, and we fly flights him together. We were supposed to fly Saturday. He got super busy, right? He ends up calling me. I wake up to a message saying, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm such a bad friend. And I'm like, dude, you got busy. It's okay. Relax. We're adults. And he goes, well, I'm just so sorry. And I'm like, it's fine.
My take on the millennials is that the millennial males say their favorite word is I'm sorry. Like, I've never heard it so much, especially the young men around here, like my stepdaughter's boyfriend and her ex-husband. They say I'm sorry all the time. I'm sorry. You can just say, no matter what you say to them, they feel like they're being yelled at, and they need to apologize.
It is something that it took me almost 4 years to break that habit, because somebody had pointed out to me. They're like, dude, you say sorry again, I'm going to stab you in the fucking throat. Shut up. I didn't realize I was saying it.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. He goes, dude, I'm serious. And it's one of those things where, like, even if I'm not doing anything wrong to inconvenience anyone, I would still say it, like,
sometimes
for no reason.
It's like
I did not know that about
naturally
Canadians.
sometimes, I guess. Yeah.
Now, I was saying earlier that our car horns go honk, honk, and in Canada, car horns go sorry.
Dude, if I had a Tesla, that's the first thing I would change the horn to is sorry. As soon as I went to Canada.
Wow. See, mine would go explosion imminent. Explosion imminent.
I think in Canada now they're changing the horns. Well, at least in Vancouver, to get out of the way, you Filipino.
Oh, too soon. Oh.
Yo, it's too late, because they should have had that horn a couple of days ago. It's too late, not too soon.
I
they had that horn a week ago, those people would still be alive.
Oh.
I think GD poisoned my coffee. That's the problem. I think that's what happened.
Again, Corey,
way to derail this parade.
Family spat, which is a past sense of spit.
Well, I learned something here about Canada. Now, here's what I'm interested in, and I don't know why I'm interested in this, because I want to do this. Do you have buskers up in Canada at all? Because the weather is not conducive to busking, right?
Well, in the summertime we do, yeah.
Everybody knows what busking is except for me. I did not know what busking is. Everybody, you knew what busking was. I didn't know what busking was, and I used to busk, and I didn't know what it was.
Wow. and I've been to Canada. But for some reason in my mind, it's always fucking the middle of winter in Canada. Like it could be July, and I'm thinking you got 4 feet of snow. But
Vancouver, I've heard Vancouver compared to kind of like Northern California during summer.
Well, he's not in Vancouver. He's in Ottawa.
Oh yeah, Ottawa.
Ottawa.
So yeah, I'm actually not in the city of Ottawa. I'm south. We're closer to the New York State border here. We're along the St. Lawrence. So that's a little small town called South Mountain, which is like just tiny. And actually, I live in the country, so I'm outside of town. But I mean, I'm about 45-minute drive south of Ottawa. So
yeah,
that's just usually the general city, the general vicinity. People like to put where I'm from because it's the biggest city, I guess.
Now, I totally relate to that because people think I'm from New York City. I am so far from. I'm not geographically far. But I'm in the country on Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rural where I am, and people assume that I'm a city guy. I'm not. I feel out of place. Anything in suburbs make me feel like it's a big city. That's how rural it is here.
So
my wife and I, we just moved down toward Westminster, but we're a little bit further north. And when people want to know where we live, I'd say we're the last Black family in Maryland before you come to the Confederate flags. So
right
after you pass our house and there's Confederate flags. So we shop in the other direction.
When the woohoos become yeehaws, you've gone too far.
Let me take a quick perusal. Now, are you performing soon? Do you got dates on your website here, right?
Yeah. I have some shows coming up in May. Actually, I have 3 or 4 shows in May. Yeah, 3 shows. I have a private party on the 3rd in a small town called Kemptville, Ontario, not far from me. And then I have another small venue. These are acoustic shows, right? So another small venue in the town of Cardinal, which is another St. Lawrence Seaway border town. And then Spencerville, Ontario. And these are all like sort of bar restaurant venues. And you know, you can kind of mix and match. You can do some original stuff and then some classic cover songs. And kind of, I try to maintain 50% of each. If it's just a standard, restaurant venue or bar venue or something. If it's an original style showcase, then I'll try to do more of my own, mix in more of my own stuff.
Are people and I know you don't spend a lot of time in the United States these days, but more open to original music in venues like that, like restaurants and places like that? Are they open to it? Because here in, if I go to do an original song, unless it sounds too influenced by like a pop song, where it sounds like it might be a direct ripoff of a pop song, you'll hear it right away. Like play stuff they know. Do you get a lot of that, or are they open to new music?
I think when I first started doing more of my original stuff, like 25 years ago, maybe, it was tougher. But I think now, at least in my little region of Eastern Ontario here, I think people have come to know that they expect that I'm going to be doing quite a bit of my own stuff, and it's gotten a little more familiar for people. And with help with award shows and stuff like that, I've been fortunate to win a couple of awards and get some nominations over the years, and that helps with the press end of it, so people can read that and they kind of know that I'm a songwriter. And so I think it's again, it depends on the venue. If it's somebody hiring you as a party and they want to just dance and that kind of thing, then you kind of know you can maybe do a couple of your own songs here and there, but that's about it. You know, but if it's a good sit down audience, which is what I do get a lot of that lately. So that's really good. I think, a lot of my stuff can be performed. Yeah. You actually get people clapping. Yeah.
I hate that.
Now, do you have a favorite finale? I mean, some bands, like we like to finish on this because either it's all out balls and it's exhausting and we can't do another song after.
What about finishing on what? Do you ever play Freebird?
Oh, stop that.
I love that.
Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Don't answer. I play a couple of Skynyrd. I do Sweet Home Alabama, and then I also do Simple Man sometimes.
Love it.
But, yeah,
good choices.
Freebird's a little bit long on acoustic.
It is. It's obnoxious.
Guitar players that can cover all the stuff too.
Yeah. It's obnoxious, but
to answer your question, GD, yeah, I like to end with one of my songs, Crumbs, actually, that you brought up earlier. That's kind of a good up-tempo, crowd-pleasing ending song that's become sort of a staple of my original set to end with a lot of the time. So it goes over quite well. I usually get people clapping and get the crowd participation involved. So.
And then when you do your original songs at like a club, do you have like a little song book that people can look at, so they can sing along? Or like, I'm just saying, like, for example, I have my website, I have a page, it's called my karaoke songbook. And when I do song parodies, people can actually go to my website and sing along if they want to.
He's a weird.
No, I usually follow if I'm learning new songs, if there could be a new cover song for me too, like I'll slide those in, but I don't normally follow my own set list and my own song list of songs that we do. And if somebody requests something, it depends. If we know it well enough, we'll try it. If we don't, then we kind of.
I mean, but for your original songs, because
original songs.
Yeah, original songs. Like let's just say, like you have on my website, I have a song book. So when I'm doing something that people don't know, they can go to my website and sing along because the words are right there.
Oh, that's cool.
You don't want them singing along to songs they never heard before because you're going to get some really weird.
Not all songs, but some songs are fun to just have people singing a chorus or something. You're teaching the chorus, and it's not like they're idiots. They're listening to Corey.
No.
Okay, Corey can say, "Okay, guys,
I said no.
I'm gonna teach you how to sing this."
No.
Go to my website, and song number 43. Turn to page 43.
You're talking about parodies, not original songs.
Doesn't matter. Music is for the soul.
No, it does matter. If they've never heard the melody before,
your kids look like retards.
This is because this is what I was going to talk about before you brought this nonsense up.
It's not nonsense. It's part of who I am. You have to respect who I am.
It's not about you. This is about Corey M. Coons. It's not about you. Everything isn't about you, Willie. Willie, put your dick away. I don't know if you know this about GD, but he's Willie.
Give me your best and hardest. Give me your best.
Now, because my big problem is people who want to clap along and they have no fucking rhythm, and it throws me off. It drives me fucking crazy. Like if you know you have no rhythm, don't try to fit in.
Most people don't know that they don't have rhythm. They don't know they don't have rhythm.
You gotta do life. If you're old enough to be in a drinking establishment, you're old enough to know that you can't find 2 and 4.
And that's why James Brown made it simple and said the one. It's the one.
Right, the one.
The one. Right. If you can't find the one, then you just don't. Everybody goes one.
Do you ever get that, Corey? Like you're performing and somebody is just there. We used to get the white tambourine girl. The worst thing in the fucking world is a white woman with a tambourine coming into the bar. Oh my God!
I think it's different. I think the worst is a drunk redneck who ham bones during your songs.
Right, but you ever get that thrown off by somebody?
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Not knowing where to clap.
GD, I don't. That might just be some dude jerking off during your show, man. That might not be someone ham boning.
Seems like you have a lot of jerking off references in your material. I'm just so.
I try not to listen to anybody if they have a tambourine in the audience. I just don't pay attention. But for the song at the end of the set, like Crumbs, I get the rhythm started. If my drummer's not with me and it's just me, or if it's me and my guitar player, like I'll get the tempo started. Most people are pretty good with it, actually. You'd be surprised how many people can actually keep it. And all the way through that song, it's a bit longer, that song. So sometimes they get stopped halfway through and I'll kind of, where'd my clappers go? But then after that, they're right back in it. So.
Yeah, now, when I do in lieu of a drum, when I'm doing solos, I'll actually take my foot and tap the bass part, not the bass, physical bass of the mic stand, and then you hear the boom, boom, boom while I'm playing. It helps them.
Corey, when you're in Canada and you say, "Where does my clappers go?" Do you hear people in the audience go, "Sorry"?
No.
Okay. I was curious.
No, they're trying to put the lights on at that point. Clap on.
Yeah. They're like, when's this song going to end?
Are you now studio-wise? Are you produce your own music, or you work with a producer? What's
I've done both. I have some of my own, just like studio gear here at home. So I demo some stuff. I'll record parts. I'll send some stuff to Mark, my lead player, who's got his own studio in Cornwall, Ontario. We've done songs that way, back and forth, and I've sent stuff down to Nashville to a friend of mine down there, and he sent me drums and keyboard parts back. And so I've worked with people like Ron Nevison. I don't know if you're familiar with Ron Nevison. He's produced a lot of classic rock over the years. He was like,
we're big fans.
Yeah.
So I've done, I guess, in different scenarios. It depends. Sometimes I like working with the producer. Sometimes I just like kind of doing them self-produced, and depends on the songs. Depends on what kind of production we want to do with it too. So
I don't like the final product when I self-produce stuff. I'm always really hypercritical of my own production skills, and I prefer to work with a producer. Do you have like one producer that is your go-to person who you really trust and love to work with, or have you tried a number of different?
It's more been a few different people over the years, but I mean, Ron Nevison is a big name. He was one of the ones that I wanted to work with for many years because he was very, 70s, 70s and 80s classic rock influenced, which is kind of where a lot of my stuff was rooted at that point. And so he was really cool. I learned a lot from him, especially vocally, like in how to pace yourself in the studio as a vocalist when you're trying to sing and not wear yourself out through the recordings. And so I learned a lot there, but you got to have the budgets. You have to be able to, if you're going to work with producers in the studios, it's the cost. So, so I try to balance that. And it's like, well, if I can do enough of stuff on my own and make it sound cool enough, I like to have other people to bounce the ideas off. It's not always just me too. Sometimes it's co-producing with Mark or somebody else. And, so it just depends.
Yeah, I get that. The collaborative, I totally love, and I don't get enough of this. Well, the collaborative experience in getting fresh ideas from other people who've heard you might give you some productive criticisms or something like that. I totally appreciate that. I don't do enough of it, but the producer's role is something that it's really hard to find somebody who you jive with, who gets you and gets what you're doing and doesn't want it to be put their stamp of this is their music and you're just a tool for them at that point. That's where it gets
exactly. I mean, like when I worked with Ron, he was basically, he lets the artist shine through everything. Like he was kind of like, he didn't really try to change arrangements, or he might make a suggestion here and there and say, well, maybe don't do this, cut this here, try something different. But in the end, it was basically I had most of my songs and the arrangements were written and ready to go. So when I come in, I was prepared, and then the other session guys that were there had the stuff ahead of time and they're ready to go too. So he brought in some guys too that we worked with, and I got to work with Tim Pierce out of Hollywood at one point.
Wow.
He was the original guitar player on like Runaway from Bon Jovi back in the day, and got to work with him and Jeff Bova, who's a Grammy award-winning arranger who lives in Hollywood too. He sequenced and programmed a lot of keyboard parts for me on some songs and programmed some things too. And so there's been a lot of really cool people. Chris Golden, who is William Lee Golden from the Oak Ridge Boys, his son, Chris Golden. He's the one that was sending. We sent stuff back and forth because I couldn't get to the States with the whole COVID crap that was going on the last few years. So. But I'd like to work with Chris in person because he's an award-winning like gospel artist and country artist too. So I think that'd be pretty cool if we can get together and do some stuff in person. I've had a chance to hang out with him. Yeah.
Tim Pierce is a monster guitar player.
And, he's awesome.
You mentioned he played on Runaway, but he played on a lot of records, and then he toured with people, and people assume that he played the parts. Like I think
Rick Springfield.
Yeah, right. And I think Neil Giraldo played the guitar parts on one of the songs, and Tim Pierce still gets credit for it. I think Tim Pierce talks about that. A lot of stuff like that. But great studio musician. Yeah, I would love to just even meet him and pick his brain about some of this stuff.
I got to sit right in his house and in his home studio and sit there while he did the overdubs and did all the stuff. And
I'm jealous.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Very cool stuff. Now, do you always tune down for everything you do? Tune down the guitar a half step?
Most of the time, but in the last year or so, I've been kind of toying around with the whole 432 hertz tuning.
I was going to add, that was where I was going with it. You're like psychic.
Yeah, man. So I've tried that, and it's kind of a cool thing. It's a really unique feeling to play some of the songs that you're not quite fully a half step down, but you're a little bit lower than standard 440, right? So, and it's supposed to be that healing vibe from that hertz frequency.
Do you get
it's pretty cool.
Spiritual?
And then of course, I'll capo stuff too. So on the acoustic guitar, if I need to capo to change things here and there, I'll do that too. So
at 432, do you feel anything different? Because this is the big, I guess, debate. Like, is it really? Because some guys who do it, who swear by it, I'm like, I feel God coming through me when I am at 432, and other people say, no, it's just.
Well, it feels different. I mean, I think if I don't do it enough to like continually, like I'm always changing. So if I stuck with it for maybe a year, I think maybe I would feel differently a little more about it. But it's neat. I don't know if there's a word neat or whatever you want to call it. Cool. It's a different vibe a little bit.
Gee, Wally.
Does it make it more difficult to sing? For the 432 as opposed to 440.
Well, it's a little bit lower than standard tuning, so it's a little bit easier. But if there's a song I've been doing in the flat tuning, then it's a little bit higher again. So it depends on the song. But sometimes I'm just trying to find that sort of pitch where I'll fall into it.
That's what I meant by finding the actual pitch, because after a while, muscle memory, you'll do the A or the A flat or the A sharp, but now you got a 432A. And muscle memory is not like, I can't find that note. So,
well,
I was just
spiritual,
curious.
man. It's spiritual memory. It's not muscle memory, man.
Yeah, I mean, I find it a bit spiritual. I kind of have that element to myself.
Well, that's where it gets a little unbelievable for me.
Well, my music is spiritual also, because when I play it, people go, "Oh God, stop!" So
yeah, no, I say even when you're talking, I get that, but
oh God, stop them.
Mark Farner, Grand Funk Railroad's original founder and guitar player, he's a 432 guy, and he'll tell me, he has told me that he played. Now, why would you do this in the first place? He said he played for a pool of water. He put his amp at 440, played the song through an amp really loud for a pool of water, and the water's vibrating all over the place. But if he does it off 432, it's just still as can be. It doesn't move at all. Like, first of all, why would you do that? Why would you?
I don't know why.
I don't believe that.
Science.
And he's also lying.
I know he's lying.
There's a church in Europe where they have these graphic designs on the wall, and they were trying to interpret them for the longest time. And it turns out that if you played certain frequencies to a sandbox, that was the patterns that they would make, and so that's what's on the wall, the patterns from the different sounds.
Yeah, but 432. I mean, the reason the water was moving at 440 would turn your amp all the way up. It was just the sheer volume, the vibrations. It doesn't stop vibrating at 432. You're still going to vibrate the water. So that,
right.
I mean, it's
yeah, he's just lying.
I'm going to go play for a bucket of piss.
But now I'm curious. I'm curious because the guy from B-52's Fred something. He was talking about the first guitarist that they had, but he was very ambiguous about it. He says, I miss him. He had a very funky way of tuning. And now I'm wondering if that wasn't the way he tuned, because back then I never attached the 432 with that.
I like to play between 5 and 9 hertz.
Yeah.
That's the brown note.
Yeah. I don't think 432 was even, I mean, it was a thing back 150 years ago, but I don't think in the 70s when B-52s anybody was doing it. He might have. But it generally became a fad in the last 10, 15 years or so.
Yeah, so
the only thing I find that I don't like is if you're listening to something on, like, say somebody puts a YouTube video on and then they say, oh, and this is this original song in 532. Well, the whole digital element of it already is taking away from it to me, because it's got a different sound. And then you start getting this like swishing sound when you change. And if you burn things like down into like the smallest amount of compression, digitally, it just doesn't have a good sound anymore. So I find when they're trying to take a digital file and put it into 432 after it's already been recorded, that to me is not really the same thing. You have to actually record, like there's bands that have recorded their whole albums in 432, and that's how it is. It's done that way, right? So that would be different to me. Yeah.
I would hate being, because Mark now has his band, a band that tours with him, and I would hate to be one of the guys who was supporting somebody who's a 432. Like, you know what? I keep my instruments all tuned to 440. Now I got to change just for this one guy, and it's like, you know what? I don't.
Well, if he's paying you enough, you buy one or two guitars.
You're saying you're not really a hired gun guy then, because it's got to be your way.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, my way, 440 is not exactly my way. It's kind of like the stand.
Yeah.
I'm not picky like that, but I'd like to have my guitars in tune so I don't have to fuss with them a lot. And then wait a minute, I got to.
So, like you said, if they're paying you enough, you buy 2 other guitars and you leave them tuned with 432.
Fucking A. I totally
no, not fucking A, 432A. Fucking A is 445A. That's 445. Yeah, 445.
How we tuning? Fucking A. Fucking A. That's New York tuning. That's what they call it.
Fucking A.
So it's not the Canadian A? A?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. You like your back bacon, don't you? You like your bacon as thick as a pig, don't you? Anyway,
that's a term of perfection.
Now, one last thing I wanted to ask you about guitars. First of all, are you electric and acoustic guitar player, or are you mostly acoustic guitar player?
Mostly acoustic the last few years, but I do have electrics too. I have a couple Fender Telecasters and have an Epiphone model Les Paul, but they don't get as much use anymore. I'm playing a lot more acoustic these days.
What strikes me, first of all, brand-wise and model-wise and all this stuff, are you particular about, because we have acoustic guitars now. There are some really, Martin was like the thing, the gold standard for, and now there are Taylors and there's all these kind of chord and chord is actually a name, CORD, but all these cool new acoustic brands out there that are making some exceptional guitars, woods and tones like that. Are you a gear, I want to say gear, but it's not really, it's like wood aficionado? Are you like in love with your wood? Steven, go ahead.
I wouldn't be what you would call a gear geek or anything like that. I've got my trusty Washburn Jumbo acoustic I've had for like over 20 years. It's kind of my go-to 6-string, and then I have recently, I picked up in the last couple of years a 12-string Fender. It's just a cheap $500 Fender 12-string. It's pretty decent for live. It's got a Fishman pickup in it, and so I mean, I don't buy the real high end like Taylors and stuff like that. But I know Mark has a really nice Taylor, my lead player, and they're awesome guitars too. But I don't know. I mean, I'm always open.
Yeah,
I used to like Ovations a lot. I used to play a lot of those.
I play a log now a lot, and it's a French guitar. The wood is not great, but the electronics in it are the best I've ever, as far as it doesn't sound electric at all. It sounds like an acoustic guitar when you plug it in.
Is that a Larrivee or what's that? No, not Larrivee.
LAG. It's a I don't know what because it's a different kind of battery. You know, most guitars you put like a 9-volt transistor battery in it. This you put 2 AA batteries in.
Oh wow!
Excuse me. Very weird. I think it's their own electronics. I don't know about that.
But your age, wood generally suffers, so you have to rely on electronics. So
you better say that with a smile on your face, because I will smack your fucking little Amish beard right on your floppy tits. Yeah, you know, are you Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm Canadian. I'm sorry.
Sorry, eh?
Are you familiar with an American singer-songwriter? He's big on YouTube now. Jesse Wells. Are you familiar with him?
No, not really.
Phenomenal songwriter and prolific. I mean, he writes stuff like all based off the news of yesterday, and will come out with a really cool song about it almost every day. But he plays a lot of the cheapest guitars. I mean, they're almost like toy guitars. If you went to the toy store and bought like one of those, and he plays a lot of, it's his sound. Are you particular about having a individual? I know GD kind of did his Miles Davis impersonation before about learning to play like me. Are you particular about having a unique sound, or do you care about that at all?
I mean, I think it just kind of comes out, my sound. I mean, it's like I said,
I think that's the way you should be naturally, just to be your sound, not like I want to sound like me.
No, I think what I am is just a culmination of everything that's, you know, I grew up with right through till now. I mean, all the influences over the years, it's all a melting pot for me. So, I mean, I don't try to force things, even with songwriting. Like, I don't try to force the song. I would tend to say the idea, I let it guide me more than I guide the song. You know what I mean? It's going to come out.
I totally appreciate your calling GD a doofus dick, and thank you for that. No, we hope people will support
anywhere in there, Matt. I think you're reading into what he said. I didn't hear him say doofus at all.
I think what he meant was,
are you a retard?
Okay.
Are you done?
Yeah, are you done?
All right. Let's say goodbye, Corey. Now, Corey, I have sonicbids.com. Now, can you just name your website? Is it just CoreyMCoons.com?
Yeah, CoreyMCoons.com. That's my official website. All the links are there for everything.
All right. We'll encourage people to follow you. Or we hope people will not be turned off by us and be inclined to actually check your music out and become fans. And I'm not sure how many people we have up in Canada yet. I know we have, probably
we used to
about
have a lot
of it.
before Will left.
Before I started mispronouncing the name of their country.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go to Maxica.
What's a rumble?
You sounded like a Valley girl when you said that. I want to go to Mexico, and I want to have a margarita.
Mexico and Canada are two neighbors that will soon enough become 51st and 52nd states. We'll just take them over because
Gulf of America.
I think Canada will kick our ass, and if we try to invade them, they're hockey players.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you being here. Good luck, and we'll listen, if you got anything special you want to promote, just drop me a line and I'll mention it to people whenever my dementia fades away.
And we'll keep the doors open for you and the crumbs off the floor.
Come back sometime.
There you go. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye. So I guess we got stiffed by the Brazilian jiu-jitsu Polish guy, right? Ferdinand Macarella.
Polish guy?
Ferdinand Macarena.
I thought it was Miguel, but I could be wrong. I'm not looking at it.
I don't think his last name was Ferreira.
Koblinski. Miguel Ferreira Koblinski. He leaves the Koblinski off for.
What?
Now, Ferreira, that's not a Portuguese thing either, because Brazilian is not Spanish. Brazilian is from Portugal. Brazil
yeah.
Well, he's not here.
They were colonized by the Portuguese.
So what should I even bother writing to him? Because remember Austin Arbogast, who was supposed to be on last week, like Wednesday or Thursday last week, and I wrote to him. He finally wrote back to me early this morning. Oh, sorry about that, man. Things came up. No excuses. This is the no excuse for you. Can't. No excuses. But the excuse came 5 days late. Like,
I say we find this guy and we break his fucking knees.
Yeah, that's a good. I don't know if you know this about him, but he doesn't have any knees.
He doesn't have knees?
No.
Well, then we'll break his fucking shins. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't have any shins.
Well, then we'll his
He's
arms.
Legless. He's legless. He stops at the ass.
Oh, then we'll punch him in the ass. I don't know.
I don't know. It was good to have a guy on to call GD a doofus stick. I like that. I should be like a prerequisite. If you want to be a guest on the program, be prepared to call GD a doofus stick, right? Or no?
Can we get that on a T-shirt?
It's a lot to put on a T-shirt. Who do we have tomorrow, Johnny? You know who we have tomorrow, Johnny? You don't even know that your name is Johnny. What day is today? I'm still in April, right? Still April?
Oh my God!
I don't know. I don't. My calendar is all fucked up.
Oh, we have Dan West and Doug Lawrence.
So that's two more. A comedian and Dan West is a comedian, and Doug Lawrence is the county Mountie. He's the author, the Mountie, the Dudley Do-Right guy.
We're having Dudley Do-Right on.
Yeah, he wants to talk about grief. Now, Dan West, he's got a new book out about grief, dealing with grief. Oh, good grief. How you deal with grief? You suck it up and you man it up and you move on. You get in your truck and you go to work.
You get in your truck and go to work. That's right.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping they fire the Bubba from Knock 'em Dead Comedy and offer me a steady job as Bubba. Now, I have to a little complain about. Yeah, you guys never heard me complain about anything ever before, right?
Never heard you complain a day in my life.
I'm not a complainer mostly. I suck it up. I put my pants on and I go to work. But
why are you doing card tricks right now?
I'm not. I'm just keeping my hand alive because I have nerve damage and it keeps my hand alive.
That happens at your age, but go on.
Do you think this is a trick? It's actual magic. It's not a trick. See that?
Whoa!
Why are you blown away? Aren't you?
I'm blown away.
And the important part is the away part.
You're like a gay sea otter. You blow other dudes out of the water.
It disappeared. See, gone. It's gone. See, yeah.
But now bring it back like that.
Okay, I'll pull it out your ear.
So
there you go.
Whoa!
Pull it out your ass. I just want to get your take on this because
it's not going to be good for you right now.
It's a long story. If I was born in a little cabin by the side of the river. No, it's not that long a story. So Tony, with this Knock 'em Dead Comedy thing, Freehold, New Jersey, he said they're feeding us. He told me they're feeding us. Okay, they're feeding us. To me, as a musician, that means they're going to bring us a menu, and you get to order what you want, and then bring it in. It's like a restaurant. They feed you, right? Right? Yeah.
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
So we're driving like 100 miles, 100,000 miles, wherever, hours and hours, and we're almost there now. We're in the town of Freehold, and I'm in the back of the bus because they thought I was black.
Yeah.
And I see.
So you had to sit with the bride. So you had to sit in the back with the bride.
Well, the bride sat one row in front of me because I was a little. I was like, what the hell is here? But
anyways,
and so I was texting you guys pictures. But so they pull into a Burger King parking lot. Now I'm thinking they're feeding us. why are we pulling into a Burger King? We're almost there. We're like 10 minutes from the place now. Pulling into a Burger King. And they're all getting out. And I'm like, what? And Tony says, you want anything, Matt? Like, no, they're feeding. They're feeding us. But I got to take a pee. I'm going to get out. And then I hear him, well, Tony's ordering. He says what he wants. And he says, okay, we'll give these guys whatever they want. I'm buying. I'm thinking, this is what he means by feeding us. So I better get some food here right now. So I order some food there. And now, instead of sitting down in a restaurant, they want to go out into the bus and eat in the bus, which I think is pretty crude. If we're going to sit down and eat, you're not driving, you're not saving any time, why go sit out in the fucking bus?
It's camaraderie, man.
Sit at a table like a fucking human being. All right. So we eat. And I'm thinking, this is it. This is what he meant by feeding us. He's buying me fucking Burger King. Like, yeah. And so I eat. I pig out at Burger King. And then we get to the place, and there's a fucking buffet line of food out there. Like, all this great food. I'm stuffed now. I just ate shitty Burger King. I can't enjoy this good food. Why did we stop at Burger King? Go ahead. Try to fit that into my small brain and explain to me what happened there. Do you know?
I don't know what happened. I can't. First of all, I would not even presume to try to fit something inside your brain. That's not even. I don't get paid enough to do that.
Yeah, it's microsurgery. I know.
Yeah. And as far as feeding us, I have a tendency to want to know what that means to begin with. I mean, because as a comedian, sometimes that's how people want to pay me is in food. So I want to know, well, what is the food?
Oh, no,
exactly. You got to ask details, man. You got to dot your I's and cross your T's.
For the show, cashola for the show.
You understand that? I'm just saying because of me being a lowly comedian, not one of you highfalutin actor, musician guys. Yeah, sometimes, and sometimes they don't even tell you that you're being paid in food. They tell you this cash, and it's like, oh, it's cash, but it's got to be used on food. So I honestly, I was paid like $100 for a gig. I was a feature. And I was given $100, but I was actually given $100 gift card for the place that we were performing at.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I did was I gave it to one of the people there because I was from out of town. I wasn't going to come back out there to use that gift card. So I gave some of the people that were there that was like really enjoying themselves. I gave them the gift card. I said, "Your dinner's on me. Look me up."
We used to have a sponsor that would buy that gift card for you at 80%.
Card Cash. That's what I was.
Card Cash is no longer our sponsor, but you can go to if you need to sell that gift card because that's what I would do. I'd dump that sucker off pretty quickly. But that didn't occur to me. I was kind of shocked that I didn't get that detail. Yeah. Usually when I hear they're feeding us, I'm thinking, I get to eat some good food for once instead of my own cooking or my wife's terrible cooking. My wife's wonderful cooking. I mean,
you're in trouble. I'm sending this right to
her. It would taste better if you got out of the kitchen while she cleaned it.
Oh my God! You both are about to be in trouble. I'm telling both of your wives.
What? I'm talking about Matt's wife, not mine. I'm not.
I know.
My wife is 8 feet away on the other side of the wall. You think I'm going to say something?
I can't. No,
like that? No.
It's not after she cleans it. It's while whatever. I'm not allowed.
And besides, Matt was the one who specifically said he could not get coffee because his wife was cleaning the kitchen. That was the whole premise of that comment. I didn't say that I couldn't get coffee because my wife was cleaning the kitchen. I never said that. Right. That was Matt. It's called a callback. If you knew anything about, I'm going to quote Steven. I'm going to quote Willie. Now, if you knew anything about comedy,
wow, disrespectful.
No, that's
Willie said that to me.
Yeah, all the time. This was Willie's.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know anything about comedy? Well, and this is the last guy you want to take comedy advice from. A guy who, we have a guy on.
When he said that to me, I couldn't help but smile. I would have laughed out loud. But I was like, he goes, if you knew anything about comedy, I was like, okay.
Is it tomorrow? Is it this? Is it Dan West?
Is that Adam West's son?
Oh no, it's Wednesday. We have Mr. Heath Wombolt, Mr. Heath Wombolt, who's been in comedy for 1.5 years. He's been on Kill Tony twice, And this is making me think there's something rigged about this Kill Tony, because you got these people like Willie who will fucking go kill Tony and try their hardest to get on there over and over and over again and never get caught. And this guy's been doing comedy a year and a half, and his very first open mic ever was Kill Tony, and he didn't even know what Kill Tony was. Somebody just made him go there, and he ends up on it. Now he's been on there twice. I'm thinking it's rigged. I mean,
I personally now know 6 people who have been on Kill Tony, and it's been completely random for them. So I don't know. I'm not. I mean, obviously,
they might think it's completely random, but maybe they have scouts going around because they go in the waiting room and scout around and see.
Well, sometimes because they do get first timers up there, so that they have had a couple first timers at their arena shows.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible that there's somebody who says, "Well, let's get a couple of quote ringers." I don't know. Somebody's like, "Well, something that we can know what's going to happen." And
half of that show is shitting on people when they do bad. So it's it's very possible. And if you look at like the Kill Tony Reddits and the chat rooms, a good number of people are convinced that the bucket pulls are not random.
Well, they could be legit. I don't know anything about them, and I really don't. I've actually learned more about it than
if you're part of the fandom, you know that there's a discrepancy.
I know this much more than GD does about it, and I regret knowing.
Yes, I really don't want to know anything about Kill Tony.
It's just if you're a regular watcher of the program, you know that it just doesn't seem super random, because they like the amount of like couples that they get like one after the another, that happens a lot. And if it happens once, cool. Twice, whoa, what a weird coincidence. But they've had like 4 or 5 times where they've pulled a guy and then coincidentally pulled their spouse immediately after.
Yeah.
So, it's happened enough to where now you can be like, okay, that's suspicious.
I do know somebody who was on Kill Tony twice in one night, because they had 2 different acts and they used 2 different names, and they pulled both names. And when they showed up the second time, Tony says, "Weren't you on here earlier?" Yeah. Why'd you use a different name? It's a different act, and he just lit into them. They never. It's like it's your fault. It would be like if I went up as me and then I went up as me later.
Yeah. So this guy who's coming on Wednesday, Mr. Heath Wombold. I'm thinking that's an Australian guy, right? Wombold. And Mr. Heath. He called him Mr. Like, who walks around with the Mr.
See, that's funny. I'm thinking he's an African who was raised in England. Like he's the first generation. His parents were from Africa. They were in England, and then they, named their son Heath, although they still have their African name Wombat or whatever.
So let me tell you, I don't want to prejudice the audience, because I know our audience is very prejudiced to begin with against this guy, or even for this guy, whatever. But
what's his picture look like? I have no idea.
Here's what I know about him. He's a blue collar guy, a carpenter, and his
Jesus.
His platform, or his agenda is make family great again. And I think because he talks about his wife, or his ex-wife, not letting him try to make his kids' birthdays happy or something like this. Make family great again. There's a bit, I don't know if you know this about conservatives, but there's a big part of the conservative movement that wants to take away no-fault divorce and force women into staying with the mistake husband we all make mistakes. Listen, but to force women, like Steven Crowder, this is his thing. He wants to be able to force his wife not to get a divorce from him and stay married to him. And that's what they mean by make family great again. I think, dude, let it go. There are more fish in the sea, and don't ever talk bad about your kid's mother in public, especially. But these guys who just want to force women back into the Stone Age. I drag them by their hair and make them stay married to me. Why would you want to be with somebody who doesn't love you or doesn't want to be with you?
I don't know, but I have a question. You just reminded me of something totally by accident. But this question is more for Steven. But Matt, if you can listen if you want to, but it's for Steven.
Okay.
I sent a video to a show producer who's also a comedian because they said they wanted a clip, you know. So and this comedian does YouTube shorts, does a lot of TikTok shorts. So I send him my video, and I'm familiar with. I've been following him because I want to know who I'm dealing with. So I pretty much know what he does and his style. I send him my clip, and about a week later, he's doing YouTube shorts that sound a lot like the clip that I sent him. The same premises, right? You know.
So the question is that how Steven got his stuff from Landau?
You son of a bitch. I've never stolen a joke, first of all. Second of all, it sounds like they probably stole your shit, is what it sounds like.
But yeah, it's not. Yeah, the premises. Yeah. The thing is, and the reason why I say this is because the premises are like uniquely mine. And so they had to like kind of disguise it. It's kind of like if I invented the Ford Model T and I'm going to rip off the Ford Model T. Okay, well, I'm going to, instead of a T, I'm going to use an I. I'm going to have two, but it was a T, but now it's an I. That kind of thing. And I was like, okay, this is just too coincidental. And he's not answering my things about the show now. I said, you said you wanted me to perform. What's going on?
Yeah.
Well, I think it definitely sounds like he stole your shit, but I have to get out of here, guys. I have to head to work. So
you can't. No, you can't leave yet because I'm still talking to you. You bastard. You rat bastard. I know. I was talking to him. I was talking. See, you can't go to work if we keep bringing you back. See, you're stuck.
I know.
It's like a Minority Report. It's like only I'm the minority. Only I'm the minority.
We actually have a camera on Steven on his way to work. Here he is now. There he is, driving his little Hyundai.
Are you guys like even curious how the Minority Report have no black people in it?
No, it makes sense to me. They wanted to prevent crime before it happened. They took a big step forward. I got to get out of here.
Wow, he's not there. Wait, he is there. No, he's not there. He's gone.
I think you can bring him back, man. If you try real hard, I think he'll be at the store.
He turned off his camera in the car. Yeah, so the guy's doing a premise. He's a skinny little white gay guy, but his premise is he was a black man growing up in Baltimore. I think we know he stole your shit. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's just
we got Steven's expert opinion as our resident joke thief.
Well, I'm also, because a lot of people used to copy off of me in school when I was in elementary school and junior high and high school. And you could tell when they copied off you because they changed certain words so it wouldn't look exactly like the copy, but they copied off of you, and that's what this is. I'm going like, come on, man, you son of a bitch.
I don't know if you know this, but I copied off a guy who had one ball, went to prison for stealing a flower, something.
The dozen flowers.
All original material there, all original. I made that all up on my own.
Yeah, because they stole irises and you stole tulips.
Yeah. Anyway, tomorrow, Dan West, who's a Army
Adam West's son,
former veteran who's been in comedy for more than a year. Hopefully, you gotta get these guys more than a year. Oh, a year and a half. Oh, that doesn't count. Got to be at least 20 years. I want 20-year guys. Anyway, he'll be with us, and then Doug. What's Doug's last name? The Mountie.
Stanhope.
Doug. No, not that. I'd like to have Stanhope. Stanhope doesn't love me.
Dudley Do Right.
Dudley Do Right. Doug. What's Doug's last name? Doug Lawrence. Yeah, you know what? That's a Canadian last name, Lawrence, right?
Yeah, because there's Edie Gourmet and Edie Lawrence.
The St. Lawrence Waterway or whatever. Yeah, something.
Who was
All right, so that's
what I'm talking about, right? Edie Lawrence and was it something Lawrence and Gourmet? It was a married couple. They
Edie Gourmet and Steve Lawrence. No,
yes,
Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank God we made it through Monday. Monday is done for us. It's time to go smoke some white weed, and I don't know. My wife is home. I'm not going to be able to smoke the white weed. I have to wait till she goes out.
You can't do it outside with the chickens?
Oh, it's got to be outside with the chickens, no matter what. I'm not allowed to ever smoke in the house. All right. So we're out of here till tomorrow. Have a great day, and see you then. Don't forget to turn on your radio. Bye for now. The opinions.
Butter me with Crisco and call me a mule.
Finish inside me.
Mannequin pussy!
Sending your parents a letter, tell them you're a whore.
Two weeks? 2 weeks? You sound like a panic.
Gotta walk around, man. Who the hell are you? Walk around nappy. Don't worry. No matter what, don't worry.
You heard the one about the two bulls?
Fuck yeah!
Heard the one about the two bulls?
Fuck yeah!
You heard the one about the two bulls?
Fuck yeah!
Listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.